Good morning, everybody. This is Evelyn, and I have my 3-deck read for you today and my 7-deck read on the table for you today. So I want to get right into it. This first 3-deck read is, again, very profound messages coming up in it. Today is, what is today? Today is September 6th, 2022, and it's been raining all morning. It's very kind of dark and rainy here, but I slept really well this morning. I'm going to show you the first read. And it is set up as I normally do, for those of you familiar. Okay, so I have the Metatron deck on top, the underlying energies over here, and then a pile that I usually have to count the number at the end of each read, here and then here down here. I'm going to bring it in close so you can see the cards better. Okay, Metatron, Nature's Whispers, and Shaman Dreams. Okay, we're going to roll the dice first, too. Actually, let's go ahead and first take our 3 deep breaths. Another deep breath. One more deep breath. Sending lots of love out to you guys. Lots of blessings. I hope you're having an amazing, beautiful day, and thank you so much for joining me right now. Remember, if you like these videos, to like, share, and subscribe so we get the word out there, okay? The dice. Here we go. For the Twin Flames, today on September 6th, 2022, which is a 369 kind of energy because 222 is 6, and today is 9-6 too, so it's 966. Which is 20. Oh, it's 21 actually. So there's some kind of completion energy here today with the 6 of love and the lovers, love, family, community. For the Twin Flames, okay, we have Gemini here, which is the twins. Okay, also big communication with Mercury. We also have the Sun, which is Leo, and also 0-point energy here, okay? And we have the number 4, which is all about structure, building, stability, manifesting, survival. I was also getting the 4 as, how did that come out? The 11 bent out of shape, right? The 1 bent out of shape, because the 44 was coming up as the 11 bent out of shape. So 4 is also April, which goes from from Aries to Taurus. So Taurus and Leo are fixed, and then we have Aries, which is cardinal, and then Gemini, which is mutable. So there is a balance there for sure. The Sun, the twins, and stability. I feel like summer's coming up too, because it's like the end of the summer, especially with all the rain today. We haven't had much rain at all, and it's been really raining and downpouring all morning, which the plants are loving that. All right, so let's get into my first read here that I showed you. There's a lot of very cool information here. So this was started at 11:04 yesterday morning. 11 is Justice, 4 is the Emperor. That was the Metatron deck I started with. Nature Whispers was at 11:06 to 7, and then Shaman Dreams from 11:08. So the 3 piles were 24, 8, and then 20 broken down to 3 and 17. I was also getting the energies of the 4 plus 3 equals 7, which is the Emperor and the Empress, and the 7 of the Chariot, and then the 17 of Stars, and I keep losing my voice. So there's something that needs to be said right here. The Queen of Wands, Dance of Judgment. So again, my voice could be coming up like that because someone's being judgmental. Or the Queen of Wands being strong in their voice regarding a wake-up call. But what happened yesterday morning is I woke up to Teddy having had diarrhea all over the living room. There's like 3 big piles and then 2 little spots on the carpet that I had to clean up first thing when I got up this morning. And all of you know that's not fun. So I had to do that. That took a little bit. And just getting the smell out of the house, right? Because it was kind of stinky. So smell may be coming up too as a psychic ability. And then after that, right after I finished cleaning up all the poop, I came back to relax, you know, like finally done with all my other stuff too. And a birdie hit the window. So, and I heard them hit the deck after the window. So I went out to see if they were okay. And I didn't see anything. And I was out on the sidewalk looking around everywhere to see if there was a bird that needed help. And I was about to walk back in because I really didn't see anything. So I thought they flew away. And out of behind my plants, right behind the windows that you see in front of you, so right off to the left over here, behind the plant, or behind the pots, I'm standing on the sidewalk. All of a sudden, this bird just like projects themselves out across the deck, kind of rolling because they were walking lopsided. They couldn't get their flight. And he rolled all the way across the deck onto the sidewalk right in front of me. So then I spent the next 40 minutes or so doing eye-to-eye Reiki with him, doing some energy work around him as well. And we built up a nice little relationship. I have some very cute pictures of him. He was so sweet. And then at the end, when I was trying to get him to try to fly again, I was petting him a little bit, and then he tried to fly a little bit. So he moved himself closer to the deck. And I told him I would come out and check on him again. When I came out again, he was right next to the deck. And so I went to get some sunflower seeds to give him. He went under the deck. So next time I came out, he was literally under the deck, you know, hiding, which was good because he could defend himself. And I left the food for him under the deck. But I didn't find him there later unless he went really deep under the deck and I just can't see him because it's a very low deck, which I'm hoping that's where he is, just trying to stay safe. But I've been putting some seed out for him. So cute. So anyway, and when I met him out on the sidewalk, first thing he did, he was scared shitless, literally, and it was all purple, like purple. So I don't know if that's the color of their pee normally, because there's poop and pee. But it was kind of that magenta color. So I hope, like, he wasn't having any, like, internal bleeding type of energy. But it was just interesting that it was magenta, right? This bright magenta amidst this hurt birdie just standing there, looking very lovingly into my eyes. So anyway, lots of diarrhea yesterday. So that can be diarrhea of the mouth as well coming up. I was just getting. All right, so the Queen of Wands manifests big dreams as the High Priestess is supported by source announcements, decisions, with the 3 underlying energies at 11. That was at 11:11, by the way. And then 11:13 was the underlying cards of endings, which is 45, inner truths, which is 16, and then woodwives who adapt or are adaptable, which is number 64. So this is my little birdie from yesterday. You can go to my Instagram. I'll post like individual pictures, just random things that inspire me or that had to do with my day. So this is him with his little purple poopies, or her, not sure which. Okay. So I may need that too. Okay. All right. So compassion in the sunset each day, assessing with ancestors, notes of the day, or tones, and then atonement. So literally, I'm still losing my voice because people aren't speaking their truth. So again, yes, in this read, I'm really being told the purpose of everything we go through during the day, the things that we need to do for ourselves, and why, because why has been distorted by this past, few thousand years. Compassion in the sunset each day. Remember, compassion breaks down to calm past connection, or the easy past connection, to make it easy. Have compassion for yourself and others. Where wood wives adapt easily, right? Like the electrons running around the tree, like the mutable energies. But others may not adapt so easily, right? Like the fixed energies. Compassion each day. So our purpose at the end of each day is to have a little bit of grieving period, but it doesn't mean you have to cry or grieve. It's a time to come together at dinner to tell each other about your day. It's like an open forum where you should be able to speak your truth no matter what it is, and no one can fault you for your truth. It's like a time to agree to disagree. Nobody fights at the dinner table, and this is after you eat, right? Eat first, knowing that this is an open forum for you, that no one's allowed to judge you for the way you feel or the way you see things. So you know each time you come to dinner that everyone has to be open. So it's an open forum to hear everybody's point of view no matter what, and not be judged for it. So you don't have anxiety when you sit down to dinner. You eat your meal, and then you have that delightful conversation. So this is the process of what dinner's supposed to be. Before dinner, you have that meditation to connect with your food. It's like this, getting the sword out of the stone. You know, you want to meld with your food, raise the vibration, the love, transmute any negative energies from the food that you're eating in your prayer. And then again, after dinner is that open forum of non-judgment. So compassion in the sunset each day, because dinner's at sunset. Accessing with ancestors notes or tones of the day, which is atonement, atoning of the mind and spirit of past intentions to rescue, save, and exempt self. Okay, this is atonement, the way the words break down. The sudden inner truths, what lurks in the trunk of the tree, which can be old poop, right? It was making me think of what leaks beneath the boards, right, of the floor. So this was a big theme yesterday, what lies beneath. The sudden inner truths of what lurks in the trunk of the tree. And that can be old poop, like the floor is wood. It's like a trunk of a tree. The epiphanies about what lies beneath, and the woodwives' adaptability regarding the space between. And the man's toilet seat, the pooping, the hair in the sink, the woman cleaning up the poop, making clean space between the trunk and the offshoot, the parents and the little ones. Atonement, a tone of the mind and spirit, where the indigo is whole and complete, to evolve the heart, the baby heart, the page of cups of 40, of purity and intent, flushing with water, the dolphin, Archangel Sandalphon, Saint Dolphin, who's with you now, with Icosa, which is the icosahedron, but Icosa means I matter. That you are made of matter, and matter needs water, earth, terra, Gaia. 40 of the Pisces, page of cups, and the 7 of the chariot, which is Cancer, to co-create and in codependencies, unlocking the root is the key to your freedom. The 53 of the Knight of Swords. Have a daily talk about your day at dinner when the sun's going down to get to the root of the problems each day with the whole family. Again, transmuting your issues every day before they build up. The 17 of the Earth Star, and blessings and attentions prior to food to become one in love with food and drink and people in sync. Making sure to be at peace while eating for good digestion. Don't eat your thoughts. Knowing after you eat that all are open to your grievances of the day, so there's no nervousness, but instead inspired by family talks, open to everyone's views, and open to agreeing to disagree are the rules. At 11:33, by the way, I woke up this morning at 10:33. It's now 11:38. I had a really good sleep. I never can sleep this late, but it was really dark out, so I guess that's why. But again, at 11:33, that is justice in the 33 of the Christ vibration, aligning and standing up for oneself without needing to get defensive. So where everyone has a forum to speak their truth without being judged for it. And then the 17, what I wanted to bring up is that My mother used to say how much her favorite thing was like Fridays, where her grandfather, David Lubin, would sit down with them all and they'd have these beautiful long talks about the world, because obviously he was very knowledgeable about the world, but in a very open-minded way. So there's that 17 of healing and dreams to come true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart. So the heart was coming up here, and the HEA, and you see how many words have HEA in them, which heart is the art of healing, of dreaming. And when I say softly, slowly, hold me closer, tiny dancer, is it court the headlights on the highway? I can't read the word I wrote there. So the headlights on the highway, you notice head has HEA in it as well. Lay me down in sheets of linen. You had a busy day today. So again, that's reference from Tiny Dancer and Elton John, that same kind of energy, you know. Let me know about your day today. Let's sit down and talk about it. So HEA is here in the moment, but also here with your hearing, to kill time, to hang around, to be idle and lazy, which is good according to the Estonian language, to grieve, he, hair, pubic hair, which again can represent the false narrative of has no purpose, but actually being idle and lazy has a purpose. It is to ground and integrate the things you've been through today. Again, rebalance, right? For every expansion, there has to be a contraction in order to come back to the middle. So also the EA from HEA is to rise, to go up, to smell. So again, the sense of smell. The whole piece, quote unquote. And IGA is also a definition of EA, which is each. Lifetime, age, the village weaver, which comes up like Tiny Dancer, and like Molly Smiles, right? The seamstress for the band, right? That energy of the estate, each, and the yoke, the sovereignty, the rule, the air that you breathe, gas, vapor, life, and life force. She is there, that way, shy, ashamed, the AE of the ash and the light, the river and the running water, steam. She, here, yes, come now, come on, now, ever, at any time. So those are all definitions of EA from HEA. So we go back to the heart again, which equals the art of he, with silent S. She, S plus HE. Sophia, say it's soft, and it's almost like praying. The H, which is the I on its side, and the two T's sharing their trunk, or 1 to 1 is the H, or 11 with space between. The two I M's shared space, space with boundaries or bookends, twins, like Patty Duke. With EA, the opposite of ash, but EA is also AE, the whole piece, each, his rib, his village weaver, the chatterbox, the Tiny Dancer, and Molly Smiles. To keep put aside, to learn for later, watching others do it with iron cage, boundaries, to imitate when you're ready. Two eyes with space between, to rise into sovereignty, which that can reference your third eye. The two eyes with space between, to rise into sovereignty, to smell the air up high, life force, frill, shy and ashamed or unassuming, and now, come now, at any time. She, from Elvis Costello, may be the reason I survive at 12:01. The why and wherefore I'm alive, as I'm losing my voice, the thing that they can't say, the one I'll care for through the rough and many years. Me, I'll take her laughter and her tears and make them all my souvenirs. And where she goes, I've got to be. The meaning of my life is she, oh she. The HEA of the spirits connecting with me. The HEA of the heart is, I'm still having trouble getting my full voice out. The heart is root, the path of right, a retweet, a cape, a promontory, the headland, the art, he art, the path to be, and his a human connection to the right angle, the capital L, the angle and angel of left, the right angle arcing left, the archangel of the heart. The head with a D is a dead end, but even herd has a road or path, for they herd it through the grapevine, the path of least resistance. Wherever the water flows, free and easy, with ease and grace, she is the path he supports, his sword to her light, her stone to his home, his heart, his love, for she is etheric 5D light, and he 3D light, from the sun's rays, where she is 3D love and warmth, and he the 5D love, where his everything explodes and her nothingness contracts. What did I write there? Where you don't love, she explodes with epiphany, and he contracts to love. Each day, rise and chew, smell, breathe, nourishing love on it. So again, the rising is the smell, the breathing in, and then the chewing on it, like holding your breath, nourishing love on it each day. The ah and the chew equals the sneeze, something that tickles your fancy, causing sudden inspiration or breathing in, and then ah, chew, a blowout of sudden expiration, come and gone, come and went, or in other words, an epiphany sent. The moment before climax, the 0 point field, lazy, idle, suspended animation, dinner time, to stop and take a good look before letting it go completely. A good clearing, a revving of the engine, like vroom, 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 to get all those little pieces off of the engine, to blast off all of those bits and pieces at 12:21. Which, by the way, is the time I ended up going to sleep last night, 12:21. 21 to 22, which is the whole, the completed world, and the 22 of the new journey, the fool's journey with an open heart and a leap of faith. The completion and on to the next, the fool's journey, the day of any, or N-E. Capital N for me is Christ, and the capital E is the one equal and congruent to the next, which is the all. The capital E also represents the divine feminine of the Eve, and the E tower of one equal to all. The Christ, where the CH comes up here, and the northeast, or the NE, which is the Christ, and one equal and congruent to the space between. The CH of Chu and Christ is the cosine, 2 sine waves weaving back and forth, the channel, the I am, the EA, which is also each, the CHE, all have the same meaning, and I, 6, the lovers, love, family, community, and the TI, which is source, me, my, and COSA, which means I matter, who, what, when, why, mate, to cover, to take shelter, to hide. The 4E, which is the Russian letter, because, gray, hair, dog, Khan, Khan as in the ruler, CH is also the 28th, 4th, 16th, and 14th letters, and also is H, and HP, which is horsepower, each. So CH equals EA, which equals AE, which equals I and love and source and dog and gray hair, to mate, to shelter and hide, to channel and weave, inspire and expire. The EU of you and wrist, RIST, which is the EU of Chu, and the wrist of Christ without the CHs, which is the wrist is the crossroads, the cross, the instep, and the grid. To rise and rice, which is a twig, the offshoot, the height of the arch or step. To grow upward, or in other words, erect, the life force to rise, bright light, and the ash. And I need to take a drink real quick because I'm getting a little bit nauseous from my vitamins this morning. So hold on one second. I guess I needed to cough something out. So again, they're saying to take time to chew and to digest, like me drinking the water right there, the gulping of that. So the EU from chew, and the wrist from CHRIST. Wrist is the crossroads, the cross, the grid. The offshoot, the erect. And EU, or W rather, EW, is the IVA. So instead of IV, the co-creation, it's the co-creation into the next connection. The willow, the bird cherry, a type of evergreen, the archery bow, the house, the tree, U as in YEU, but also YOU, the one, part taken to bind into sheaves, which is adding the Sophia to the HEA, the heaves, which I was just heaving, right? And binding into sheaves. So again, taking a part of something to wrap it around the rest of itself, to hold it together. Jesus Christ. Then I was being guided to break down. With Jesus is JE is I in French, and then SUS, and then the CH with wrist that I just explained to you. Where je is I, SUS is the arc or the leap, the CH is the light, and the RIST is the grid. I, sister, shoe, raising suspicions, whisper, singing, whizzing. To raise the flame into light is the energy of the CH. The breast, the savior, the ground squirrel and the pig, collecting nuts and slop, on top of otherwise sun underneath. In this manner that follows. It's like you're getting instructions to have sex. It's kind of funny. So again, I, sister, shoe, raising suspicions, whispering, singing, and whizzing. The breast, the savior, the ground squirrel and pig. Remember, the breast is the form of nourishment, right? Collecting nuts and slop, the poop that I had to clean up yesterday morning, on top of the otherwise sun who's underneath. In this moment that follows, jump, leap, come on, up. One's, his, her, it's there. Come on, attaboy. Like a whistling breeze through a crowd, or a plant used in drug production. To raise the flame into the light, erecting the grid, the cross point, the crossroads, at the height of the flame, growing upward. I leap, or arc, light, or the flame's height, to the grid, the star. Twinkle, twinkle is twin key, little star. How, I wonder what the letters U are, which means to burn, the ember, juice, water, and rain, the hazelnut, also tumor, but is coming up as two more. The woman, wife, clock, watch, how, timepiece, border, edge, really 1 hour. Also the terrain, which was coming up as terra in the rain, of large fallen rocks or stones. The bison, drizzle, rain cloud, and cold breeze. So again, twinkie, little star, how I wonder what the letters you are. I wonder what, how, woman, wife, time, bits and pieces, to burn ember and rainwater, cold breezes, and the plateau of falling, rolling stones. The haze of the capital L, the right angle, at the right angle to screw, our one edge, really, the bison, which is by sun, 2 suns, and the tumor, which is 2 more. By sun, 2 more, and how on my side, in shared space, with human embodiment of 2 U's, W's, and it feels so good, like the achoo. The tumor is of two amours, two U's, 118. And remember, the tumor is not the problem. The tumor is what's saving you from yourself. The 1 and the 18, the 1 of the magician, the 18 of the moon, the purple moon, and the romance of two amours, two or you to sleep in soot, in coal dust, or in other words, two to live, exist, and be alive. You are activated coal, being pressured into a diamond. So the heart equals the art of he, the hearing grid, like the hearing aid, the cross to bear, the road to cross, and rise to path, the root, the sense of smell, to feel and breathe the sound of silence, which is very interesting too, because when I use my Om, okay, I also put this in front of my nose and I breathe it. So experiment with these things. These are a few of my favorite things. So the sense of smell, to breathe and feel, to feel and breathe. The sound of silence. Instead of the high heart, the high ear of the heart. HEA in capital letters is to kill time on the way. He with penis to root the matter. Way here is WAY, two humans connecting to 0 point. The heart is HEA and then the RT of the root. And then heel, which is the HEA of the L, the right angle. Head is the HEA of the D, which was coming up as the what word did it come up? Like difficult. And then the heap is coming up as HEAP of the P. So talking about my poop and pee issues yesterday. What's missing from the heart is, literally that is, I, Sophia. The S of the snake, the kundalini, the sine wave, channeling the flame height to the light grid, shining star, path of our twinkle or twin key, oneness, one. The twin is the cross with the win, the grid or the crossroad of two U's, in or the chakra system, the holy communication, the holy communion, the commune connection. With his eye, like your eye that you see out of, and the I am presence as the prize, right? You have your eye on the prize, where the heart equals he art of bringing the S to he, or in other words, she. The shart, SHEART, equals wonder, anger, God's heart. She art, as opposed to he art. The Twinkie, dwarf star or planet, which is plan of the ET. Snow White and the dwarf star or plan ET. Sirius B, or the number 13 of transition, of who is the star of the 7? Dopey, of course. And when I went online to look up the information about the 7 dwarfs coming up, the first thing that came up was Red Shoes and the 7 Dwarfs that was released on 9/18/2020, and 9/18 is my birthday. Directed by Sung Ho Hong. 1 hour and 28 minutes of being the one of the 28 twins in the duration, and is the I Am Presence of Sophia available in the English language. The letter U can watch if the letter R subscribes to OTT, which is coming up as a strong platform. And remember the OTT because it comes up, I think it came up again today, like 2 or 3 times in the read. So Dopey here is the star of the show. Oh, and Ott came up late last night in Otter, with the otter, but also came up with something else with a person in this read. So the UR comes up here, the letters UR. Subscribe to the OTT, the strong platform, and Dopey being the star of the show. So then, of course, I came up with the 7 dwarfs, and I need to take another break for water here. Hold on one sec. They may be asking you to do this also, taking breaks to sip water. Okay. So Doc was the first one that came up, who's the bossy leader, who checks gems and diamonds for authenticity. And he's said to be the second most popular of the 7 dwarfs. So remember, he's bossy but soft inside, right? Because he's got a soft spot for Snow White. But he also deals with crystals into gems. He's into gems and crystals. So Doc is the one who likes to work with crystals. Grumpy's the bad temper with a big nose with soft spot for, I'm sorry, it's not him who has the soft spot. He's just the bossy leader, but you know, he's okay. Grumpy's the one with the bad temper and the big nose with a soft spot for Snow White. He's the complainer. So he's the one who's doing shadow work and anger management. And then we have Happy, who's cheerful and loves food and who's bubbly. So he's Atlas with the weight of the world, perhaps doing grid work here as well. Sleepy is the most observant of the 7, who's always on the verge of dozing. So we all know what his job is. His job is channeling and meditation, isn't it? And then Sneezy, who's the friendliest and often joins Dopey in playful antics and can sneeze at the most unexpected times. Achoo! Well, Sneezy is twins having sex. So there you go. And then Bashful is kind-hearted and romantic and blushing with a crush on Snow White, who is the hermit transmuter. Dopey is accident-prone, with the only one without facial hair, and endearing, who's bald and doesn't speak, and can be very silly. So, of course, that's the Starseeds, the E.T. And, you know, Dopey likes to hang out with Sneezy, the twins. So, all right, those were the message for you guys for the 7 dwarfs. And this is referencing and paralleling the 7 Pleiades as well, the sisters. So then from this website, HTAE, so funny, right? So we were just talking about the heart and ash, HTAE.net. One who heals gets diamonds. One who complains gets soft with pure one. One who enjoys food is happy. One who's meditative is most observant. One who sneezes, achoo, is the friendliest and besties with Dopey. One shy is kind and romantic with Crush. One who is Dopey is bald and can't speak, and accident-prone and silly, and everyone's favorite, perhaps an E.T. And remember, Snow White is the S of now, the Sophia of the now moment, of the white of purification, which we're in Virgo right now. Say it soft and it's almost like praying. Softly, slowly. At 159 is the Magician and the 59 of the 5 of Swords. The 7 E.T. sisters. The messenger of truths, of dreams and alchemy, of dark and light, 31. The dark, which is DA of the dad, and the RK, father's era of light, is the flame's height. The father's era of light, which is the flame's height. The King of Cups, the 37 of unconditional love and detaching from drama, for him to look up at the sun rise that we just talked about. And then the purge that we also talked about at dinner time. The 45 of the 5 of Cups, the need to grieve. Letting go of the loss or the regret, the guilt and shame, the past. Purging after dinner in the sunset. A forum to express freely. For flame to rise to new heights and fall or decrescendo after dinner with ancestors holding you in compassion. The Easy Pass connection. A time and space where you get a free pass, where all are welcome to their own perspective, but rest of the day, you're on your best self behavior with less talk. To breathe in at sunrise and breathe out and vomit all over each other after dinner and then laugh about it. At 209, which is the High Priestess and the Hermit, the first card out of the 54, which has been coming out nonstop all week, which is all about Mercury and Gemini and communication. The Lilac Castle on cloud 9 in the purple moon, where the Page of Swords has a message. The Mercury Messenger, which, by the way, is my necklace I always wear. I don't know if you can see it here, but don't know if I can get it over here. Anyway, I don't know if this is catching the view, but it's literally a gift that I received in Italy when I was in my 20s of Mercury. And I used to draw that growing up in elementary school. I'd sit in my room drawing for hours. And one of the things I loved to draw the most was like a woman with her hair blowing backwards, which is the symbol of Mercury. So detach from drama, look up at sunrise, purge after dinner in the sunset, a forum to express freely, etc., etc. So we have the messenger of the 54, the Page of Swords, or the twins, which is Gemini, who are pure, which is the Virgo. They're both Mercury, on the way to grandmother's house, home to union, peeling back the layers with messages from source. The 10 of the high vibe new dawn. Welcome back, Cotter. The Aquarius age of the emotion of laughter. The sun's phased arrays of the sunflower and the buttercup yellow at 2:12. The 46 of the loving children with the keys to tears. They're the reflection of each other, the keys, the keyhole, and the tears. And then 2:14, which is Valentine's Day. And that's again to love yourself. Who are you today? You are, the letters, is now. Valentine's Day, every day, to love yourself. V-Day, Victory Day. The 3 of creation, which is the next card that then comes up, number 3. The cosmos of the 20 and healing 43. To create, announce the wake-up call, and then do Deca with connection, which is the dodeca, the 12. After flowering, and then time to come together and heal. So again, explaining your day and the purpose for each step of the way. The 3D day of co-creating at night, when the cosmos can mirror you, and healing in between. So the 3D day is the expansion of the collective, co-creating at nighttime when all is quiet, and they can do their work on us with the cosmos, where they can then mirror you very easily. And the healing between, where 4 meets 3 in a pause to receive, with the 7 of the chariot and the dwarfs or Pleiades, time to travel, have fun, look at the stars, or listen to the 7 sisters to heal. Right? Because we have the 7 dwarfs and the 7 sisters, right? So the twins, the masculines and the feminines. The mother makes decision to be in joy and heal with Terra. And I always get T-E-H-R-A, which is the same letters of Earth, just rearranged, transmuted. It's just energy done differently. And as Terra came up, so did my daughter's friend, Taraya, came up. And the rest of the letters of her name were O-Y-A. To pick, to lift, needle, lace, parent. Oh, good heavens. The nest. At 2:21, the 2 of the high priestess and the 21 of the world. And then the 6 of the love, family, and community comes up, and the aqua rose gold mother's heart of the 18 and 0 point. So 6 and 18 is also the time of Gemini. It's like the end of Gemini. Going into Cancer season. And then the next line was 2:22, the guidance counselors. So going from communication around the world with the high priestess and Gemini into Cancer season as the guidance counselors is what they're saying. 222, room 222. Which 2 is the high priestess and the divine feminine. 22 is the fool's journey with an open heart, taking a leap of faith. And the 222 is the 6 of love, family, and community, which is Cancer. The 18 of the Mother Earth, grounding support. The lovers at 0 point field with the ice cube. Remember, 18 is the moon, which is Cancer as well. The 6 of Gemini, the 18 of Cancer, that period of June to July. The 2 crystals are 2 homes and roofs where they join and cool down the fields of grain or God's rain, where the G is the perpetual cracking of the egg. In love, rain on me. The 8 of leadership dance with flame in hand, the answering of the call with ring and keys, the human embodiment of source keys, 3 of them. The mother's abundance, the fertile ground, the spiraling up of the Holy Grail, the God's rail to infinitum. 2 spirals weaving a web, the binding, the articulation without a word being said. Atone instead. Remember, atonement. The 16 of the sudden events, epiphanies, and sexual exchange. To go for, the number 4, the gold, the gods old, the ancient one, the perpetually cracking open of the egg of the ancient one, the 4 by 4s to infinity. As the heart lights upward, the flame's height is the epiphany, the inspiration, to breathe into. The Metatron lung was coming up as the iron lung, which is also IR on and Iron lung. I'm getting the irony also. The deep, deep breath of the lungs in Metatron. Right, so instead of a sound, it's the breath of the lungs, the Metatron, and a deep, deep breath. Which, as you notice, as you take a deep, deep breath, the wings are pushed back and like close together, right? So like the bird's wings when they're upward. And then at 233 is the high priestess and the Christ vibration of standing up for oneself, where then you breathe out and the wings come downward like they're in full flight. Their wings are out to the sides. As Michael's wings come forward or flap down to push you upward, right? As the wings come down, you go up. Breathe in, wings release. Breathe out, wings engage. Metatron and Michael, back and forth. The dance of the weavers. And then the 24 cards. The 24 of the Queen of Wands, but also Omega, which is the horseshoe of Mr. Ed. And Hydra, Messier 83, which is the 2 horseshoes linked together, hand in hand. Easy like breathing. Easy breezy cover girl. Christy Brinkley then came up, who's age 68 now, who trots out nuclear disinformation that writer Michael Lynch says anyway. So he corrects in his article on Forbes.com. I'm not siding with either way, right? But again, talking about people who want to come out and use their star power, right, to make a stand about something, and then having someone immersed in the old world who's coming out saying, but she's putting out disinformation about this and this. Like she might be supporting this, but things she said in support of that are not factual. So you can read that article if you like. That was Forbes.com. Again, Michael Lynch, and I believe it was, I don't know if it was yesterday's date or not, but it was, within the past couple of days. But anyway, he was talking about the misstatements that she made. The 52 of the Queen of Swords and Big Bird, and Christy Brinkley comes up with Billy Joel as well. And again, they can never go back there again, right, to the old world. The king and the queen go back to the green, but they can never go back there again. So again, referencing their marriage as well. So the Queen in Spirit's connecting with me. And I had dinner next to Christy Brinkley in my 20s when I was with my ex in New York. And she was with Billy. And I was all dressed up to go to this place. It was a really nice Italian restaurant. But she was just dressed very casually, and she had a Band-Aid on her nose because she had, and it was so funny because I'd seen her in a commercial and noticed that she had a little pimple starting to grow. So I guess that's the way models, take care of their skin. She had a Band-Aid over the pimple there. But it was very interesting to get that perspective of them. The 52 of the Queen of Swords and Big Bird, which Big Bird is the capital B of 13, and IG, right? The transition to I God, the transition to the RD of the road, the path, and the inner child Atlas who wants to be heard, the 36 of the Atlas energy, and the 34 of the ancestors of the Eight of Wands in energetic exchange to show their appreciation and healing through the 44, which is the other Atlas of the social worker, of the beacon, to be the lighter and light things up, to be the lighter, which is to make the flame grow higher. The Atlas, not bigger, but higher. The Atlas is the inner child, to be the Akon, the lighter, and shine up, where famous people are using their pull to get the word out of the inner child. The 27 of the Metatron and the Rainbow Bridge, a bow made of light, as Michael sings, "Love rain on me." Who? Breathing and flying is always open. In, out, up, down, inspire, expire, the way the cookie crumbles. The 25 of the Knight of Wands and Passion for Life, with their heart ablaze as the Hermit 9 asks action, or takes action, running with the Big Bird, the Chariots of Fire and Ice, of Land and Sea, of the polarities, of the air and the I Am Presence, the Grounder and the Flyer, the physical and the one who goes within. Exercise your breathing, the Queen of Cups 38, to activate your light body, which is the flame's height body, to breathe and light upward. Shine your light. The 23 of the King of Wands, off balance and requires assistance. In duality, pacing at 12 or high noon. The 4 of letting go of the Emperor's roar and time for fall release. The 5 to expand communication and free speech. The mouthpiece in order to get heard. The 24, and again, to get heard, and Mikey's my Australian Shepherd I grew up with, and Teddy just ran in as I said that, because he's a herder dog, right? He kind of nips at the sheep to get them all together, which he does to us at times as well. The 24 of the Omega, the Queen of Wands, orange, stretch and lunge, to release the pent-up energies, to connect and attune. Again, the atonement coming up there. Atone spirit, to release those energies, to stretch. Stretch is so important, and walking, of course. It doesn't have to be a hard workout, but you at least need to walk and stretch to release the energies. The orangutan, the aura of unity, or the forest or veggie man. The omega of flaxseed oil, perhaps, and OJ, perhaps. The 51 of the King of Swords, of whiteness, of purity and innocence. Perhaps Doc, since we're dealing with the diamonds here, right? And Doc loves to deal with the gems and their authenticity. A shaman with pure intent of truth and exclusivity. I'm just getting now. And the Excalibur, the peace pipe of the fluted instrument. The TP or toilet paper, and how, which is the hand up, using your healing energies from your hand chakra. Perhaps digestive system is being purified now, which is why there's a lot of diarrhea coming up, whether it's through the poop or through the mouth. The 41 of the Ace of Cups. As above, so below, as I'm nauseous right now telling you that. So they're confirming that our digestive systems are being purified right now. And I'm just going to grab my decaf over here because I ran out of my water. And Teddy was heard. Excuse me, and there he goes hurting again. So again, they're emphasizing taking a break between things too, to take things slowly, softly. Tiny dancer. Right? The tiny dancer is the weaver, right? The community weaver for the band. So again, Tiny Dancer and Molly Smiles are very much coming up, right? Because she had her father's guitars, and she made a jacket for one of the band members that she was dealing with. The 52 of the Queen of Swords, Big Bird, and the inner child in the Atlas that wants to be heard. The 36 and the 34 of the ancestors in energetic exchange, showing appreciation and healing through the 44 beacon Atlas, the inner child. To be that lighter and shine up. The Metatron Rainbow Bridge of the 27. The famous people using their pull to get the word out of the inner child. And the Metatron Rainbow Bridge, a bow made of light, as Michael sings, Love Rain on Me, etc. So perhaps our digestive system is being purified right now. The 41 of the Ace of Cups, and loving yourself as above, so below. Reflecting willows. And willow came up somewhere, I forget, in a strange way. So willows was definitely as a word coming up, and then Will Smith's daughter Willow has come up before, so here she is coming up again. But again, the Weeping Willows card that I showed you, where the Weeping Willow in a reflection of itself shows you the smile of the mouth, right? The lips, the smile and the frown, like the parentheses around the pillars of the tree, reflecting each other with the horizon line or the water to land line, right, being the horizontal pillar, reflecting the stars of love of the twins side by side in making the star In order to make the true star, you need 2 reflecting stars of love, the twin key twinkle, or twinkle twinkle, twin key, the 50 of the 10 of cups, of the emotional fulfillment and the happy family. Signs, everywhere is sign. For the 10 of cups fulfillment, birds and evergreens, which came up as one of the definitions as well. And also Barbaras, perhaps, regarding evergreens. So the name Barbara may come up as well as willows. And again, all the other names that have come up today, like Taraya and Molly and Sophia and Maria, of course. The void of number 30 and the Om union crown. The 48 of within lies the point of 0. No return, only spiraling, with diamond light on the shadow for clarity. Shadow work and play in water with the Knight of Cups, which is emotional. The green emerald heart, where emerald and diamond came up, and Donald came up with diamond, but this was coming up as emerald and diamond, city and all world. So first I was getting Courmayeur again, and then Philadelphia came up. But there's other messages regarding emerald and diamond as well. So as soon as I went into emerald, Ed Rendell came up, which is connected to Philadelphia. And of course, Philadelphia is one of the first places, right? The place where all the political stuff started, and medicine as well. A lot of other things. But the energy of the Knight of Cups, the Emerald Heart, and I'm getting the 7 dwarfs again, and then Donald, the Emerald and Donald, and the city all over the world, the diamond, the Courmayeur, which is again where CERN is, right? It's right by there, where Courmayeur is just literally where all 3 mountains meet. France, Italy, it's in Italy, and Switzerland. So the peak where all worlds meet, right? All the big Alps mountains meet. And then the Emerald City, of course, is the Wizard of Oz. And OZ can be O2 as well, of oxygen, of breathing. And then Ed Rendell comes up, which is ED, of the extra dimensional. And by the way, Ed Rendell's birthday is 1/5/1944, and I've never seen so many Capricorns in my life. Every time I've looked up a birthday this past week, it's been a Capricorn. So January 5th, 1944, and he's 78 years old right now. So of course, he's affiliated with New York as well. From 71 to 16, Pennsylvania governor from 03 to 11, 96 mayor of Philadelphia, 92 to 2000. He went to University of Pennsylvania as well as Villanova. And August 7th, 22, there really was not much coming up with Ed Rendell as far as news at all. You know, perhaps his opinion on his website or something like that. By doing tough, different, unpopular things first, we are able to turn the city's financial structure around, which is the only quote that I really could get from anything about Ed Rendell. But that was coming from the Inquirer on August 7th, 22. And that was also coming from the phillyvoice.com. So March 29th, 21, Ed Rendell actually criticized both Biden and Trump. And then on the HuffPost.com was something called the greenpapers.com, which I'm not political at all. This is a very political website. It's a blog of election information, if you're not familiar. But the Green Papers came up in some kind of quote from one of the political figures. And then the name Holly Otterbein came up. All right, there's that OTT that I told you, and the name Holly, as Holly Smiles. So she talks about, on February 15th, 22, she had, and again, this is all coming up under Ed Rendell. She talks about Connor Lamb, who also went to University of Penn. He represents the area, I think, Northwest Pittsburgh area. He was also a Marine and a prosecutor, national political reporter at Politico, and also WHYY Philadelphia. So again, Connor Lamb coming up as significant here, as well as Holly Otterbein. And then the otter came up in my cards again last night after this. So something significant about her. She's a reporter. She's the national political reporter at Politico and for WHYY Philadelphia. So Emerald Isle, then Emerald and Diamond came up as, I knew Emerald Isle, but I had to look it up, and it's North Carolina. But Emerald Isle came up with Diamond City. So I'm like, what's Diamond City? So what came up was the Crystal Coast on the Bogue Banks, which is North Carolina. And then there's a vehicle rental on emeraldisle.com. Diamond City was a TV series to 2018. I guess it's currently going on. I don't know. I don't watch it. And then I got major connection when this next one came up in 1960 was Diamond City, Arkansas, the jewel of Bull Shoals Lake. But there's also a Diamond City, North Carolina that used to be there at Shackleford Banks. In the uppermost island of the Cape, it's the lookout of the National Seashore. There are no bridges that go there anymore from the mainland. Where Diamond City was or any other part of the Cape Lookout National Seashore. You can get there by private boat or ferry only. It was the east end of the Shackleford Banks in North Carolina. So in August 1899, there was a Hurricane San Sirocco or Siriacro. Around 500 residents moved out at that point, and the last person moved off the island or that area in 1902. Okay, and that's all right above Emerald Isle, North Carolina, which is more coastal, whereas the Diamond City was projected more out into the ocean, so obviously it was more vulnerable to storms. So Diamond City, north of Emerald Isle, is about halfway between Charleston and Virginia Beach. It's above Myrtle and Wilmington, Carolina Beach, and Jacksonville. And it's below Newbern, or right by Newbern. And Nags Head and Virginia Beach, of course, is above it. The routes that are nearby it are Route 40, which is the Page of Cups, and 95, which runs north to south on the East Coast. 95 comes from Richmond down to there, and then Route 70 to Newbern, and then 17 to 58 to the beach. So those numbers are, 95 is the reflection of 59, which is the war within. So 95, the highway, is reflecting the war within, right? Which, yeah, we can agree with that, right? Because it's always about traffic. The 40 is the Page of Cups, which is that innocent heart, which moves towards the 17, which is dreams coming true, and then the 58 of the 5D connection. So it's coming up as a very significant area, that place, Emerald Island to Diamond City, which is no more. I think there's a call to build up old cities, because that came up somewhere yesterday or last night. Being called to rebuild cities or places that no longer exist. And it's so weird that came up with that. And that rebuilding of places came up after I did this read. It had nothing to do with this read. So 438 is the 4 of the Emperor and 38 of the Queen of Cups. So I was just documenting the healing I did on the bird, because the message was coming up regarding the healing of the bird. So I did some eye-to-eye connection. I just send a lot of love and healing to the bird to get their trust, and also send healing. That's how I did the other 11 minutes I talked about. This was not 11 minutes. I did at least like 45 minutes of healing with this bird. But the 11 minutes each before was when a bird hit the window. I literally sat with them, just eye-to-eye connection for 11 minutes, 2 times, and both times at that 11-minute mark, the bird flew away. So sometimes it takes longer, right? And it's not always that easy. So I did that same kind of healing, but then I did Reiki around them with my hands. And also I did some energy medicine where you do circles. You do circles left and then circles right? You're taking out the negative energy and then you're pulling in the healing energy. So I did that energy work as well. And then I did pet them a little bit. They tried to fly a couple times, and then I sang R. Kelly, I Believe I Can Fly, which is so funny because R. Kelly kept coming up with I Believe I Can Fly. So I sang that to him a couple times at 441, which is the Emperor and the Love of Self-Love, Spiritual Love, and New Love. And 13 came up again, which is the transition of air. And then when I went back to my deck, the very next card that I hadn't looked at yet was the bird flying away. So I don't know if he flew away or if he's just deep under my deck right now, protecting themselves. The picture of the bird flying free. And then next to the bird flying free, which I just worked on all morning yesterday, was the dragon's card having a conversation with the bird. So the bird is seeing me as that big dragon, because I was breathing on them too. The bird was telling me their perception of my healing through the cards, right? So the dragon's fire was coming up as my hands, because I was warming up my hands to do healing on the bird. He's saying I was getting heat from your hands, and then when you blew on me with your breath, I was cool. So it was hot and cold healing energy. The dragon's fire, where I breathed on them too, the 19 of the sun. So the air is the ether, right? When you deep breathing, you're pulling in ether energy. And then the warmth and the fire in the belly. The bird meets the dragon strength in transition here. And then the 12 of Akashic records to evaluate and review. So I was being guided to open a book somewhere. And this was at 444, which is the angelic realms. So the first book I looked up to was the Animal Spirit Guidebook from the deck. So I said, okay. I was just dealing with a bird, so I'm like, maybe they have a message about my bird. So I opened up the guidebook to page 82 to 83, where it was the wolf staring right at me, which is Teddy. He looks so much like a wolf. So it was Teddy literally staring right at me, because I'm spending all this time with the little birdie. And he's like, well, what about me? You're supposed to be spending time with me. But remember, the wolf with the wolf pack is going through a difficult time right now, because their MO is to be the leader of the pack. But we're becoming sovereign right now, so he can't be the leader of the pack and just have them do what he says. They all have to have their own perspective, and he has to be okay with that. So when I was healing the bird outside, he was learning to do it with me. He was standing at the door watching me the whole time and supporting me in my healing and learning what to do, because he's very good. Like if I see a bug or something and he goes to look at it, I'll tell him to leave him alone, and he will. So even the animals are raising that kind of vibration of being one with the other animals. So the guard of the family and tribe, the wolf tribe, of activism and ritual. The humanitarian efforts, where the wolf gets in trouble when it assumes all tribe members must follow suit. That includes children following in their footsteps. The tolerance helps balance the agitated wolf energy. So tolerance is key right here. To embrace all and exclude none. Okay? So when they're off balance, they can become judgmental and dominating, and they need to practice letting go. And then I opened another page, and it went right to a series of birds. So the wise owl was coming up, where a treasure is now on its way. The nightingales singing their song or calling for help, which music healing was then coming up because I sang to the bird. Then the peacock of the beautiful bird, because I kept telling him that the bird how beautiful it was. Being open to all kinds and confident. And then the hawk that brings news, and then the eagle. So the message to be small, the message may be very small, but it is very significant at this time. The eagle was coming up as the fire and the air, the bird and the dragon. You are stronger than you think, eagle child, to step into the unknown. The pink of the 26 of the Page of Wands of self-love and nurture. The baby bird and the wounded warrior. At an early age, the 35 of the Kundalini and the untapped energy from root to source, letting go of that energy upward, of fire and ice, which is my breath, the coolness of the ethers, and then the heat of the healing hands. The birdie saw me as a dragon with fire hands and cool breath. At 522, which is the freedom of speech, and the 22 of the Fool's Journey with an open heart and a leap of faith. The underlying energy of the 19 to shift your energy of the fire dragon to the 20 of the higher ground, of the fairies and the roses, and the tree, not just Teddy watching me from the door, but they're telling me the other animals around my front yard were also watching me with the bird, sitting vigil for the little birdie as their petals and leaves fall off, the trees and the flowers. The King of Wands, 23, and the 35 of the Wounded Warrior. The King of Wands is worth it. The Human of Passion, the 35 Wounded Warrior, culminating their path, their vision. The 31, to be spontaneous and reach out and touch someone, the little ones, even the flowers or in the flowers. The 12 of the wisdom, of expansion of wisdom, and hand fasting, holding hands with others as people come from miles around to see the whisperer. The 16 of the sudden inner truths, the epiphanies, the sexual exchange of what lies beneath, the bird under the deck, and the transition of the 13 of renewal of peace, the little baby in the nook of the tree under the deck, at my front window looking out. So it's referencing the baby in the nook of the tree, or perhaps the little birdie under the deck. It could be the mouse hiding in your house. It could be my doggie looking out the front window. As all the little ones, the little animals, come to see and help the healing of the baby. The 44, and I don't feel like this bird was fully grown. I don't know the technicalities of their wings or anything like that when they're growing, but I don't feel like it was a fully grown bird. I feel like it was just, I don't know if it was just learning or just a young bird. Because another bird died actually a couple weeks back when they hit the window, and it was the same kind of bird. It was very sad. So the 44 of the social worker, the Atlas energy of grounding, integrating, mastering how to receive love. So not only is the social worker doing for others, but in doing for others, they're learning how to receive love because they're projecting their own wounds from their childhood, which came up in the show last night, which was The Devil in Ohio. It's a series on Netflix. And it really was about her wanting to help this girl because she was going through the same thing that she went through as a child. So very much the social worker healing themselves through healing others, right? Breaking the chain, which came up in the show last night too. Breaking the chain, breaking the patterns. To seek beauty inside and out, learning to walk away to save yourself first. When you count your candles and your wishes, covering your head in wishes, in a long trail of wishes that follows you, as the dear one looks up to you and follows suit as the leader of the pack who allows the pack to make up their own minds, they get more respect. The 32 of trusting your own understanding of your journey and your perspective. The 48 of the walking away and within to hope and happiness. The H of the HEA and feeling the rainbow in the breeze of your breath. Your hair wild and free, at the beach with the birds, at 533 of freedom, and the 33 of the Christ consciousness and standing up for yourself. Where the land meets the sea, meets the sky, meets the I am. And this bird was it was a gray bird, but it had a blue tinge to it. I am. The heart is heard. The healing of the root brings growth to the crown, but I wrote grown instead. The healing of the root brings growth to the grown, but I didn't mean to write grown. That's the first time I've seen it. The loving hands and the big picture. The 37 of the... So again, me healing the little birdie who couldn't fly was me healing myself when I was a little child, and it's making me want to cry. Because, my mother, had a very bad temper, and she was always, yelling at me or looking at me like she hated me, when I was growing up, and I was the target because I was the crier in the family. I was the middle child. So they're telling me now that me healing the little birdie who was vulnerable with no one to protect them, that I was healing my own self by healing the bird as well. The 37 of the King of Cups and the ideal course always of love. The iguana whisperer, the build it and he will come. The 50 of the family and the tree is the potential gateway. The heart and the blue topaz energy here of the throat illuminates in speaking from the heart of the fairy tales and the forgotten places and the stone borealis beneath the tree that we never see, what lies beneath again. The 8 of the dance and the breakthrough from the tree to fly, little butterfly diving into the ocean from the tree. They thought they could do it, but the ocean was a window and they got hurt instead. But the lady with the tightrope wandered down the path in a 22 leap of faith, looking for the birdie who hit to see what they could do. And that's it. It's a children's book, something to see what they could do, to see what they could see. I can't remember what that is. So 18 is coming up as new experiences and possibilities at the 0 point, in the romantic moon. A special bouquet of love in crystal vase or vase with horse and butterfly, or the round table, which is dinner time now, and of flowers and windows and homes all around, right? With a big open view. So to sit outside if you can for a beautiful view, perhaps out front or out back. A quiet, magical place. The healer on the golden horse, or the unicorn and butterfly at their side, who sees beauty everywhere at 5:45, with 8 cards. The 5:45 again is the freedom and change of the 45 of the purge after dinner. The 8 cards of the 33 of being gentle with yourself and standing up for the little ones, which is you. The 27 of inspiring with a childlike spirit. The 40 of the Page of Cups to show your support. The little fairies and the little birds, and the man in the rowboat who needs your support too. The 25 of the Knight of Wands to keep your dreams alive, with kisses from the blue baby to keep going. The 14, so again, they come into your world to show you something about yourself. So again, the little birdie's coming in as a blue ray, right? To show me something about myself. The assurance that all seasons will come and go, for a higher love and patience, one step at a time, taking breaks to breathe and drink water. The 4 of the paws to stabilize at the tree, and the 41 of the Ace of Cups to be of service as the octopus teacher who can't have their own children, or being a foster parent, which also came up in the show last night because she had a foster child, in deep emotions. The 38 of acceptance of love, and the Queen of Cups and her tree trunk as her vines grow around him, the trunk. At 5:51, which is the freedom of the King of Swords. As he feels her love, her vines grow around him as the trunk of the tree. So then I took a break right there to have dinner with my daughter and talk about this stuff, right? Have our forum, our open forum at dinner. And we had Indian food, by the way. So the Indian energy is coming up as the healing energy, right? The how of the hand up and using the chakra in your hand. And literally, so when a Native American puts their hand up as how, it's coming up reflecting that they're exposing their vulnerability of their healing abilities to you. They're exposing themselves and healing you at the same time, which is a show of trust. The 7-11 of the Chariot and the 11 of alignment and justice. And the 3 of the benefactor of grace and generosity. The 2 who are sitting in the mushroom in joy and glee, saying, good grace. At 19, the 19 of the sun, and the falling angel into the sun. So it's transmuting that energy. So when good grace came up here, for me personally, it was my mother healing her grace wound, because her middle name was Grace after my great aunt, and she didn't like my great aunt. So she's healing her grace wound here. The benefactor of grace and generosity of 2 in the mushroom, which is one of my favorite cards because it's so beautiful and loving. The 2 little furry guys hugging each other, sitting in a mushroom. He has a crown on and they're watching the show. Good grace. 19 of the sun, falling angel in the sun, watching the show. The 36 and the 44 just came up back to back, which are the 2 different atlases. The one who physically carries the weight of the world and the one who is the social worker carrying the weight of the world. The 36 lost in space and needing direction. Atlas needed, so a map is needed. And the 44 where Atlas arrives in the perfect storm, the courage to step into life. Both the raven, the peacock, and the eagle's vortex here, as 3 mountains of the Alps come together. The raven, the peacock, and the eagle, so that's coming up as Italy, France, and Switzerland. Yeah, so the raven is coming up as Italy. I just said in that order. Switzerland is the peacock. France is the peacock, and Switzerland is the eagle, because they're more neutral. right? The peacock is France, right? They love to show off with fashion and all. And then the raven, right? Who's ravenous, the Italians, and of course the Vatican and all that. So the raven, the peacock, and the eagle, as where the Alps meet in Courmayeur, which is a Eagles Olympics, it's a winter site of the Olympics in the past. Or also the sweet little guy being blown on as I breathed on them. The storm is the courage to step into life. Both the raven, the peacock, and the eagle vortex, or sweet little guy being blown on, right? This courage to step into all of this. The 36 of Atlas and the 44 of Atlas, two different kinds of Atlas, physical and passionate, or emotional and inspired. The weight of the world and the weight of the storm. The 4 of the Emperor, caterpillar or cat ER pillar, opportunity to show compassion and unravel, to get down on their hands and knees like I did when I was healing this bird, with cat's eyes and discs back and forth from the tail. So it's referencing also the difference in healing styles between the masculine and the feminine. The 30 of the horse, the horseman, and the union changes, right? He's like the Knight of Wands up on his hind legs, ready to charge in to union, to bring change, to be the herald of change. The 53 of the Knight of Swords then, who's the curious stranger, and the sky bridge of union. The 47 of synchronicities and possibilities for union, of seeing the options of heaven in your eyes. There doesn't need to be confusion if you just let go and let it be. The 31 in the hand, the heart hand, like I was just talking about the how hand being up. The heart in the hand is where the universe is your partner. The 6 is the cosmic womb, the divine feminine's love. The 64 of the woodwives, and adaptability when there's pain, to transmute the energies and see it in a new perspective, to clean up and create space, a healing place. The tree womb. At 721, which is the chariot and the 21 of the world, with the 11 of the deep quiet, where a hand reaches out, aligned with meditation and stillness. The 27 of the heart home of compassion, and the 411 of the urgent information needed to inspire living from the heart. The 35 of the wounded warrior who lost their way at the 11th hour, northwest, or NW, the Christed 2 U's. The 28 of the twin flames and the twin flame hollow bone, emptying yourself to receive teachings. Again, the humbling, the hollowing, in order to let source flow through you. It's not to tell you you're bad or small, it's that you can grow by allowing source to flow through you easily without blocking it by the ego. The emperor with justice, with new passion of the wounded warrior twin flame. The 18 of the eyes of the eagle, the oracle rising above the fray, with their eyes wide open, seeing clearly. The chai, or the kai, the 10 of the high vibe destiny, the deep diver from the eagle's nest to the deep ocean and coming up empty, like the bird hitting my window thinking it was water or something else, right? Not a window to hit. Suddenly time to replenish at the 18 and September, which is endings, number 9. Seeing clearly, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. The October is for diving deep and looking up and seeing it's half empty, not full, or looking up at what was opened before is now closed off, with only room to breathe. They can't fly out. So it's like the little birdie under the deck, not knowing how to get out now, right? So seeing it as half empty because there's no water, they're not underwater anymore. They're not buried in deep water. So they're not seeing the half empty as something negative, but they're seeing as half empty because they don't know how to get out. They got lost. So like the little birdie under the deck where they don't know how to get out, right? Because where they could leave, now like the door's been closed, but it's up top. It's like being inside of a barrel where somebody closed the top and now you can't get out. And that movie came up recently too, of in Africa, where they were trapped in the house under the floor. If you've seen that movie, I forget the name of it. But the 20 cards here of realizing when you're trapped in a situation, there there's a reason for that, because there's something you're going to get out of this experience, the little treasures that you get from being in a very negative place, or what we deem as negative in our perspective, where there's 20 cards. So the birdie may feel trapped under the deck right now, not knowing how to get out, but there was a reason for that, to protect them from the predators and the big rainstorm that was out all morning. Otherwise he would have been out in the open, exposed and just drenched and not being able to fly. The 20 cards here of 3 and 17 and abundant dreams. The Empress is healing, the beloved 2 High Priestess, heart on fire with radical acceptance. The 24 of the galactic mushroom and the divine matrix, or in other words, the 2 vine mother tricks, which is Bellatrix with Beetlejuice. The 2 vine mother's tricks, which is the 2 vines of the Kundalini weaving between each other, which is Bella's tricks, peeling back or peeled back, exposed, the coconut, the Pisces fire, and the whale's song. And then GW 61 was coming up. So I first thought of George Washington, but it was coming up as the Bible verses. So GW is God's word, is chapter 61 from Isaiah and Psalm both came up. So first GW 61 came up as a power supply, BBC, classic automation. So it's just a power source device. But then Isaiah came up, which starts with the Lord will anoint his servant with his spirit. And Psalms was for the choir director on a stringed instrument by David. Listen to my cry for help, O God. Pay attention to my prayer. From the ends of earth I call to you, where I begin to lose heart. Lead me to the rock that is high above me. You have been my refuge, the tower of struggle, again with the enemy. I would like to be a quest in your test forever, to take refuge under protection of your wings. Selah, O God, you have heard my vows. You have given me the inheritance that belongs to those who fear your name. Added days upon days to the life of the king. May his years endure throughout every generation. May he sit enthroned in the presence of God forever. May mercy and truth protect him. And then I will make music to praise your home. So it's like going through the steps that I took to heal the bird, right? Giving mercy and truth to protect him, and then music. Live music to praise your name forever as I keep my vows day after day. So the mushy coconut and whale song came up regarding that. But I want to read you Isaiah too. And I didn't write that down because it was too long. So I took pictures of it on my phone, if I can get it to turn around here. All right. So, one second, I just have to turn the orientation around here. Okay. The Lord will anoint his servant with his spirit. The spirit of the Almighty Lord is with me, because the Lord has anointed me to deliver good news to humble people. He has sent me to heal those who are brokenhearted, to announce that captives will be set free and prisoners will be released. He has sent me to announce the year of the Lord's goodwill and the day of our God's vengeance, to comfort all those who grieve. He has sent me to provide for all those who grieve Zion, to give them crowns instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of tears of grief, and clothes of praise instead of a spirit of weakness. They will be called the oaks of righteousness, the plantings of the Lord. Hold on, I have to go to the next page here. So that he might display his glory. They will rebuild the ancient ruins. They will restore the places destroyed long ago. That's where that came up. They will restore the places destroyed long ago, and Diamond City came up with that. They will renew the ruined cities, the places destroyed generations ago. Foreigners will come forward and become the shepherds for your flocks, and children of foreigners will work your fields and your vineyards. You will be called the priests of the Lord. You will be called the servants of God. You will consume the wealth of the nations. You will boast in their splendor. You will receive a double measure of wealth instead of your shame. You will sing about your wealth instead of your disgrace. That is why you will have a double measure of wealth in your land. You will have everlasting joy. I, the Lord, love justice. I hate robbery and wrongdoing. There's one more page. Hold on one sec. I will faithfully reward my people's work. I will make an everlasting promise to them. Then their offspring will be known among the nations and their descendants among the people. Everyone who sees them will recognize that they are the descendants from the Lord has blessed. I will find joy in the Lord. I will delight in my God. He has dressed me in the clothes of salvation. He has wrapped me in the robe of righteousness, like a bridegroom with a priest's turban, like a bride with her jewels, like the ground that brings forth its crops, and like the garden that makes the seed in it grow. So the Almighty Lord will make righteousness and praise spring up in front of all nations. Okay, so there's your message. So very profound. All right, so going back to the cards after this, after the so mushy coconut and the whale song, perhaps the goofy and the one who sings coming together, or the old person who sings, perhaps someone might see me as that. The 54 of the Page of Swords, initiating the crossing, mountain to mountain. Half the wailing tree of the inner war, 59, where the Page of Swords, who started at the beginning of the read, has cut down the cherry tree, right? So Washington cutting down the cherry tree to create a bridge, right? Cutting the tree in half to put it across the mountains to happy days, 2 swords in the stone, the wake-up call to the feast of plenty for everyone, the Knight of Cups in Metox, and the shaman taking a bath. And remember, it's all in your perspective. As I was getting choked up a little bit. Right? Because shaman taking a bath can be seen more than one way, of course. And the Knight of Cups Metox. Right? Detoxing yourself. Maybe someone might call you selfish for doing that. And say, okay, I'm loving myself first right now. Thank you. And the shaman taking a bath. Perhaps some salt water to do some clearing here. And the 37 of the King of Cups. And the Magician's Sword. And the Magician's Sword at 8:30 with the confidence in your magic, in your Magician's Sword, Excalibur, at 8:30, which is the dance of the union. And the 15 of the Dust Devil being cleared out as the Hermit in a balancing act, controlling the green moth. So controlling your spirit, right? Your thoughts, being the green moth. So somebody new in their flight, like the birdie, controlling your thoughts of the green moth to the flame desires, right? So learning that balancing act on one foot and not just being the moth that goes to the flame without thinking about what might happen. And it's not to go into fear, but to take things slowly instead, right? Not to try to anticipate with your thoughts, but rather just walk the earth one day at a time, slowly, softly, tiny dancer, right? To not be in fear, but to do things slowly, gently, carefully, as the divine masculine magician in their tidy house who uses the number 33 of joyful muse for inspiration, the 14 of the drifter patiently experiencing life as it comes down the channel of the waterway of emotion, the 26 of the Page of Wands, and they're gathering around the community, the waterfall, right, which is lots of channels of water, where they come together in a gathering around, and that can just be at the dinner table at the end of the day. The 63 of the winter's dream as we go into the winter of the gestation period, the pregnancy time from fall to the winter. The 62, what can be seen as a prison or be seen as the release. The will o' the wisp. The willow is the wisp. I was just getting WISP. Isn't that, I think that's a radio, I don't know if it's still around, but that must be a radio station. The will of the wisp, which is also the double U's, which is coming up as the I, Sophia, and the P, and just PP, to use is P. I'm going to look up my definition of P because I'm wondering what they want me to use right there for the letter P. So I'm going to my, see I have a little cheat sheet of all the meanings of the letters that have come up over the years. I don't think it's fully complete because I haven't updated it recently. But the letter P comes up as grounding but imbalanced, or not up. When we talked about in this read all about the flame height, flame up. So grounded but not firing up, right? Not inspired. And the capital P comes up as where's the other P? Oh, it's right here. So the P comes up as, it's also going down. It's going down, it's on the left, so it's off balanced to the left. So the left is balanced there, where the masculine's off with the P. But P also comes up as pi and seeking balance, which can be Libra energy as well, which we're going from Virgo to Libra right now, which also brings up my pin technical diagram, which I posted on Instagram, and I did the video for it a long time ago. So pi plus the diamond and the light of the masculine and the feminine, which comes up as the P plus the lowercase b and the lowercase d, which is my pin, the safety pin example, and the quantum leap of the R, B, and D connect to the sun in seeking balance here. So again, my technical drawing has to do with how the twins work, right? So when the pin is open, the point points towards the sun, where the feminine is collecting the sun's energy. It goes down in the circle at the bottom of the pin into the second circle, which is the masculine circle, which the back of the pin is the masculine, and then the top of the pin is the housing. So you can check that diagram out if you'd like to, but that's what's coming up with the P. And PP. So the wisp, the double use of the I Sophia in the twin flame connection and how it works, and releasing from the prison and the treasures that came out of the shadows of the prison, in the fool's embrace and coming together, the 22 of the fool's journey, in the child's pose, but now with a new skin and wings, transmuting pain, crowning at warp speed, trying to rise again. So this is like the final rising. Okay, so no more falling anymore. The eagle has dove or rose, multiple times, but this is like the final rise. So this is where this new skin has grown, of transmuting pain, crowning at warp speed now, where your crown is, you're getting more downloads at a faster pace, because now you're in your final rise at 836, which is the dance of Atlas, of the weight of the world, and being able to carry that without getting stressed out or in fear, or without being burdened by it. Okay? So there is your message. So let me get you the 7-deck read now, which is on the table in front of you. That was a long message, but it was really good. Okay. My little birdie. He's so cute. Look how cute he is. I hope he's okay. He or she. Not sure what it was. All right, so now we have the... oh, I want to show you this too. I posted this on Instagram too. It's not a great picture, but I have to show it to you because... Let's see if it came out the other way. Yeah. All right, so I posted this to Instagram. So let me get my little pointer. I don't have my other pointer because Teddy gets back here sometimes, so I had to take the dangerous stuff away, which is why I took a lot of stuff off the table. But we have, I don't know if you can see it right here, but this looks like Howard Stern right here. Like he's at the table back there with headphones on, and there's all these other people on the floor back here doing work too. They're all at the table, and then here's another guy with headphones on at the table, sitting here close up. And then over here is Atlas, which is, this is not actually happening on my table. This is actually my little guys, my angels with their horns, but this is behind them. This is my salt rock. So it's coming up purple here because of my light. So this is like Atlas carrying the weight of the world, and this pyramid comes up, and this is my Merkaba. So it doesn't normally come up this way. So it's literally showing you the roof of the pyramid. And then also down here, and this guy here looks like a little doggy who's looking at this guy. Can you see this guy in the stone? He's like hiding inside this, like an egg cracked open. And you can see his hair and his eye. His eye is right there, and his hair. And it looks like he's got a hat right on here, and that this is a headphone as well. So it's like another sound man. There we go, the sound man. He's hiding though. He doesn't want to do the work, where all these guys are working back here. And the Atlas is carrying the weight of the world. And also this guy, this little character over here, also looks like another doggy character here. Now that I'm looking at it, it looks like this is the doggy's hand pointing to the guy working over here, which is the Eight of Pentacles, right? He's working to create his dreams over here with heaven in his eyes. So there's a big story just in that picture alone. I hope you could see all that. But again, I posted the picture on Instagram if you want to look at it more closely. So the SIRIAN Starseed deck, which is the read on the table, which I didn't show you yet. Let me show you that too. So here's the read on the table. And this was cut and dealt at 5:34. And that's the 5 of change, freedom, expansion, the 34 of the energetic exchange of the 8 of Wands, the arrows of love. And at 5:42, the Eker of chalices came up along with the letter S for Sophia and the sine wave. So Eker, I'm getting the energy of beaker, right? The emotions. So chalices is cups, which has to do with emotions and heart-based things. And the Eker is also the EE of the energetic exchange of the Ker, which can be negative spirit energies, the emotions of a negative spirit, and the energetic exchange. And people seeing, again, this is coming up as people seeing Sophia as something negative because of preconceived notions, or because they didn't understand Sophia, or their religion wasn't based around Sophia. So it's coming up as that, the distortions around Sophia. And 5:42, which is the change of the 42, which is the 2 of cups, and that loving energy of the one-to-one. Sophia is very much that one-to-one energy of the love of a mother. So at 5:58, which is the change in the 58 of the 4 of swords, abundance came up. And before that, solar deity, which is the sun. And after that was justice. So abundance, or the Empress, was the only major arcana in the main part of the read. We have 5 cups here, 2 swords, 2 wands, and 1 pentacle. And so instead of 52 and 21, the way I wrote it, it's dark 5 and dark 1. So it's coming up as the 51 of the King of Swords and the 22 of the Fool's Journey. But the 52 is the Queen of Swords and the completion of the journey of the world. So it's bringing both the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords up here. We have the King of Cups and the Page of Cups, and underneath in the underlying energy is the Knight of Wands and the King of Wands. All right, so the wands are in the underlying energy, the cups are in the main part of the read, and then after the read was the Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Wands, along with the Wounded Warrior, 9 of Wands. The numbers, we had 22, 44, and 77 is the double numbers. 22 is the Fool's Journey. 44 is the Atlas energy of the social worker, the weight of the world, and learning how to receive love. The 77 of your sovereignty. Also 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm getting staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive. So remember, is part of chew. Chew. The breathing in and the breathing out. And staying alive, just staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. And then we have the 7, 8 to the end, which is the heaven on earth. Stay alive so you can see heaven on earth. Coming to a theater near you is what I'm getting. The 24 of the Queen of Wands and Omega, right? The end of the community. right? Completion of the community. And the 47 of the heaven in your eyes, of dreams coming true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart, but also your synchronicities and your options there. The heart-based things, things that you love, that you truly love, that totally resonate with you. We also have the 12 of the Hanging Man, the 23 of the King of Wands, the 34 of the Eight of Wands, the Arrows of Love, the 45 of the Purge, the 56 of the Two of Swords, of being in your knowing and keeping your energy clear or quiet. There's a time to be quiet. The 67 of the Knight of Pentacles, the humble, loyal servant, in hollowing oneself. And then the 89 of the Phi energy, of expanding, contracting, or just staying in the middle, reflecting, again, the transmutation of the polarities. The code line is all about rebirth today, and the number 11 coming from 2, 4, and 5, which is the High Priestess, the Emperor, and the Hierophant, the guidance counselor perhaps here. The 24 and the 5, which is the Omega and the guidance. The Omega and the guidance of the horseshoe, of the snake, of Mr. Ed and Hydra, the Kundalini and the horse's head. They're so funny the way they bring this through. So it's bringing again the rod and staff connection of the Kundalini rising. So the chakra system up to the horse's head, right to the horse's head, or to the horse's mouth. So funny. The 11 of alignment and the 5 and 58 is the 5D connection. To be free, to connect in 5D. And the rebirthing of this. So the messages came through as the AM, so the morning. And I was just getting atmosphere, I don't know why, but that's coming up as well. But the AM and the atmosphere of the morning, perhaps. And this is a radio station as well, right? The AM as opposed to the FM. And the AM bridge, which is also coming up as the masculine and the feminine, because the capital A is also the penis or the rocket. And the M is the water and the mountain, right? So the valley, and the V is in the middle of the M, which is the divine feminine creation. So again, the masculine and the feminine bridge, the ownership, the I am from the beginning. So you're bringing back the wounds from the beginning when you were separated as Adam and Eve, as the first masculine, the first feminine on earth, as the Jesus and Mary Magdalene twins who are connected, the bridge, the ownership, the I am, owning it from the beginning. The two flashes of light that they have done things to each other over the thousands of years, right? From the beginning, the two flashes of light and the grounding, integrating, and mastering of love, the gym. The support of one of two, and the 5 of the Hierophant, the guidance counselor. Room 222 of the divine feminine, the fool's journey of an open heart and a leap of faith. And the 222, which is the year now, 2022, with the 3 2s and space between to take your time. And the space is between the 2 of the High Priestess, Divine Feminine, and the 22 of the Journey. And then the 2 2 of Love, Family, and Community of the 2 The Hierophant regarding rebirth. And also the Hierophant is also can be the High Priest, but it also can be societal norms. So can, it depends on your perspective. It can be both polarities. It can be the old and the new. The rebirthing of the 5 of change, freedom, and expansion. And it also came up as the AM, to be held perhaps in the morning, or to be held as each other are always held. It's like Andromeda and Pegasus, who share the same star. They're always together. Or like conjoined twins. They're always together. Possessed. They possess each other. In the morning, like egg and God, and the perpetually cracking open of the egg, where the G is that symbol of that perpetual cracking, and the hammock and the fire by the river, or aborting by means of handing over. The father with crossbow, a challenge to fall, needing a rope and a shoulder, 2 flashes of light or lightning, bored of shaving, and the same old, being bored, which is that time to ground and integrate, to go within. The 1 of 2 of bewilderment or mystery, the maze or labyrinth, the crush and the struggle. To need, but not kneading, it's KNEAD. To knead the bread, the dough, in need of support. And I'm getting, when I'm saying kneading the bread, I'm getting that visual I had in my meditation, the harmonic egg, of when the prehistoric bird came down to massage the head of the elephant because they were in love. The kneading, in need of support, the yogurt. So even if you're of different species and you can't be together, you can still have that strong love. It's like I can still go out and take care of the little birdie that I don't know, right? The support, the yogurt, the ointment, the schmaltz, the one of two support, change, freedom, and regarding rebirth. So the AM bridge is also the AB of the abdomen, and the B, capital B, is the 13 as well, and the A is the rocket, the penis, and the 13 is the transition of that. The two Evs also came up here regarding, using me as a reference to the divine feminine, which E and V are a 9, which is the one and the all of the hermit and the collective. The twos, Eb, so it's like the collective feminines, grounding, integrating, and mastering, along with the masculine of the penis transitioning, and the AM bridge of the masculine and feminine bridge, the AB, like your ABCs, where the C is then the whispering bench of the two coming together. The twos, Ev, the collective feminines, grounding, integrating, and mastering how to receive love and support 5, or the Hierophant, or the changes regarding rebirth, that final rise. So, at 6:36 is the Lovers and the Atlas energy of the weight of the world, and we started out here with the 7 of Cups and the underlying energy. The 7 of Cups is the big card underneath these little cards here. And that was a scam call coming through. I'm going to read it to you. It's from my bank, which is a scam though. It's telling me there's a certain amount scheduled payment to Deb, D-E-B, using bill pay is being processed. If this was not you, click here, right? Because they want you to go in to get your money. So don't do that. Okay. So September 6th it is. 2022. The 6 of the Lovers. And the 21 of the world. Around the world. Around the world in 80 days. The 636 of the Lovers and the Atlas energy of the world. It is the world Atlas. Carrying the world on their shoulders. The Lovers carrying the world. In completion. Feeling complete and whole. The 7 of Cups reversed, and beneath that is the 9 of Wands, the Knight of Wands reversed, the Sun reversed, the Ace of Swords reversed, the 4 of Swords upright, and the King of Wands upright. So the Knight of Wands reversed is falling short, drained, sick, or exhausted. And we're starting this about 1 hour, 53 minutes. In need of vacation, in a split, divide, or need for truth. On break, at rest, or 5D connect. The King of Wands is upright, dumping emotional attachments and multiple loads. No longer confused, or coming back downstairs, spiraling, hanging by a rope. Or exhausted, lying about sleeping with the King of Wands, or perhaps sleeping with the enemy, or making him go downstairs to receive passion, growth, sex, or creativity, with kids and pets who may be out of control, and a house is unstable, or in returning from vacation. Present with the Page of Swords reversed, who may be lying, spying, or spreading rumors, or mouthing off, or the silent treatment, or making kids or pets go to the basement to be seen and not heard. The King of Swords magician with the Empress upright, and the King of Pentacles who may be jealous or rejected in energetic exchange by one keeping to themselves or being quiet. The Page of Pentacles reversed, uninvited, so that's coming up with Alanis Morissette and City of Angels. The Page of Pentacles reversed, uninvited, or missed opportunity, or suddenly needs help to start over in pursuit of a divorce, or to be free, or free from religion or establishment, or starting over. That came up in the show last night too, is the freedom from a cult religion. Establishment, starting over with spiritual freedom from the beginning. Detoxing under the radar, letting go of your last dime, perhaps to fix something up, or fix up the place, make amends, or mend something while saving for a new life to get back in the saddle. Play or practice. This could be the one getting back in the saddle can be the player who may be playing, or maybe they're practicing how to magnetize here at 7:03 with the Chariot and the Empress. Worth waiting for, and beneath that was retreat. The Hermit reverse coming out, missing their flame in a twist of fate, or Porn Queen X. The Queen of Cups is upright, present to romantic tie, with Virgo and Libra both reversed, which I'm getting is like just the junction of the two, right? Where they're not in either one, but right where they shift, which is, I guess, September 21st. I'm not sure the exact day that Virgo goes to Libra this year because it's different every year. But Libra and Virgo both reversed here, and the Queen of Wands present in bed, coming clean and putting their under armor back on, bringing truth into the bed now, from now on. So again, those who have not been telling each other their truth are now doing that. 7:08 is the Chariot and the Dance, and teaching and learning to manifest your dreams. The 57 of the Three of Swords, and beneath that karmic completion, number 10 of that high vibe destiny. The 10 of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community with dysfunction or loss here. Broken down, broken up, broken in, broke out, or broke through. Perhaps an ambulance or an ambulance chaser here. And a breakthrough regarding this, or your perspective on that. A split and being happy on their own, celebrating or chef in the kitchen. The King of Pentacles reversed with issues or third party at work. Sunshine exposure to anxiety or jail time with lover or prisoner of love. Exposing the gate now closing, which that energy came up of the one in the barrel, right? That it was open, but now it's not. Or the little birdie thinking it's not open because they're under the deck. They don't realize it's still open. They just need to find their way out. So that energy is coming up as well. Exposing the gate closing to the twin flame lover, which may appear to be closing, right? But actually you can't close off to your twin flame because you're connected by cord, right? The Saturn at Aquarius, 12/17/20 to 3/7/2023. So that's when Saturn leaves Aquarius, March 7th, 2023, which is my kid's dad's birthday, actually, which changes then to Pisces, which is 3/7 is Pisces. The Star of Bethlehem of Saturn and Jupiter conjunction, when that happened, the Jupiter in Gemini here, 5/25/24 to 6/9/25, there's a reprieve between. So it's coming up as, remember I told you about this reprieve or honeymoon period for the twins, 4/4 to 5/5, but this was supposed to be in reference to the Olympics, but the Olympics then was delayed. So it's like it's coming back up now, the 4/4/2023 to 5/5/2024, where now Jupiter in Aries, May 16th, 2023, and Saturn, Pisces, and Jupiter in Taurus. But this is always coming up from the card. So, and again, when Saturn, when Jupiter goes into Taurus, so obviously Pisces isn't in Taurus. I don't know what I was writing there. But Saturn and Jupiter, Saturn, Pisces, and Jupiter in Taurus. So like me, I have Jupiter in Capricorn, so Taurus is very compatible with Capricorn. So that may be more comfortable energy for my Jupiter, because I actually have conjunct Saturn and Jupiter in Capricorn. But again, the prisoner of love, and again, I was talking about all the people whose birthdays were in Capricorn, which is also my sister. The prisoner of love through March 7th, 2023, and then Leo and Gemini here, or the ego and the twins. Lovers come downstairs to receive a visit, or free after ball, and come clean to bed partner about separation and teaching and learning at 7/28, which is the Chariot and the twins. And this could be, and then it was 7/28, which is my Leo brother's birthday. about family dysfunction, coming clean about dysfunction and loss, about the brokenness and the warrior's path. After a sudden event and the Lovers out in the cold, or 9/11 energies, which is coming up in 5 days, brought up at the anniversary now. Recovering and fixing things up, making amends, working hard with the weight of the world, overwhelmed, dumped, and a war, detoxing the devil or ball and chain, or Capricorn to find peace with the 10 of Cups reversed, ending to a cycle with injustice of work, issues of the Hermit reverse coming out to the King of Cups and the Queen of Swords are both upright here. So the King of Cups can be also unconditional love and the light workers of the Queen of Swords, but also can be a water sign, King of Cups, Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer, and then the Queen of Swords, which could be an air sign, which could be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. About an offer of passion from the Page of Swords reversed, who may be juggling and being sneaky, or juggling guilt with the Queen of Cups upright, but the Emperor's reversed, and the Ten of Pentacles, family is reversed here, which can be a business or community as well, in their dysfunction or loss. At 7:39, which is the Chariot and the 39 of the Knight of Cups. So this also comes up because we have the Chariot and the Knight of Cups, right? The Savior rushing in to save the day of the Queen of Cups with the Emperor reverse. This came up in the show last night, where the leader of the cult was actually willing to give up his daughter as the sacrifice they needed to make things better with the gods, with Lucifer was their cult. But you have to watch it because it didn't come, it's a very different perspective on what they believed. It wasn't like this scary, scary thing. It was not to agree with that, to kill people, but that not everything about their religion was negative, but it was distorted, which is why there was still sacrifice and death. So this father of the cult was willing to give up their daughter, the Queen of Cups, in a sacrifice. But here comes in the Knight of Cups in their car to save the day, and that happened in the show last night too, with the dysfunctional family, business, or community, which was this cult, and their dysfunction or loss when then her mother, after the girl got away from being sacrificed, her mother took her place because it was so ingrained in her. But this is the release of the doctor who was taking care of the girl who was part of this cult. She had experienced the same thing with her mother, where her mother never protected her from the father, right? She never protected her. She didn't protect herself but the daughter always felt bad for the mother because she understood that she couldn't help herself, but she never grieved the part of her where the mother never protected her and was supposed to. So she did that through helping this other girl escape this cult. So this is very much coming up here as the Knight of Cups coming in, which was ultimately a masculine who came in to save her, the Queen of Cups. You know, like usually a lot of, the majority of police are men, as well as firemen are usually men, although there are both. But it is that masculine energy of coming in to save someone from a trauma. And then 9/11 is coming up regarding that, the hugest of traumas. The recent past is the Two of Wands upright and the twin flame lovers repeating steps. And again, the first responders for 9/11 are coming up. Or circling around the announcement or the wake up to peace in recovering from dumping emotional attachments, to imprisonments, anxieties, again, traumas of the past, the traps of juggling and performing, or coming clean to or about a dependent or overspending, or perhaps a large purchase of something. The Ten of Cups reversed family with the Queen of Pentacles, the betrayal, the ending pain, the bleeding out at the Knight of Cups rushing in to save, but rushing in to share instead. Satisfaction in making announcement or calls, or music piped in, as the foundation is the Eight of Swords, of hiding in the woods, that imprisonment, and satisfied or arrogant in a split or divorce, or being or defending yourself about being outside the box or different. The central energy of the Seven of Swords reversed, not passing messages after a sudden epiphany or twist of fate, facing fears or defense of the Knight of Cups reversed and the Queen of Cups upright, standing up to the King of Swords, who's upright. So the Knight of Cups reversed can be rejection or, manipulation. It can be schmoozing up to people to get them to do what they want. So facing fears or the defensiveness of the Knight of Cups reversed and the Queen of Cups upright standing up to the King of Swords, even though the Knight of Cups is the one that's reversed. She's defending them and standing up to the King of Swords, who may not be resonating with her. Where the Two Cups, perhaps the Queen of Pentacles' mother, and a sneaky dependent, where the mother's standing up for the sneaky dependent to the father, who's in their integrity, of unhappy family, and the challenge being the Four of Cups reversed, starting over, coming in from the islands. The World, the Divine Feminine, Pisces, and the Queen of Wands reversed, feeling badly or grieving, or the King of Swords upright is about the Emperor reversed, the Wounded Warrior surrendering to Patient or to Patience or Angel, or the Wounded Warrior surrendering is Sagittarius, the Hierophant reversed in a divorce or narcissistic marriage, or just spiritual and outside of the box. The Ace of Swords reversed is the split of the Queen of Pentacles, who may be shocked in an all-business relationship. The Queen of Swords upright, Divine Feminine or Pisces, or World of Angels, and sundowning perhaps, or drained from a negative past. In a falling out, or perhaps dealing with difficult children, not walking away and uncomfortable feelings, or unable to ask for help because of ego. The Three of Wands upright, being present to flame, pushed to the limit, which the Page of Cups upright, and the Knight of Wands reversed, or just kids in general. And the Page of Cups can be very sweet, but maybe that's too much to that side where they're just always wanting love and attention, like giving it to you because they want it in return. But we all know that can't be every second of the day. One may be very sweet or overly sweet, and the other one sour. The Two of Cups, so again, it's about bringing both children to their middle point to stop that polarity between the kids, one being sweet, one being sour. They need to both come to the middle. And that's why kids may be bonding now, like putting the parents aside, not talking to their parents, to bond with the sibling in order to create that balance within themselves. The Two of Cups upright, the intense connection with the star, the healer at 755 of the Chariot and the Truth, or healing emotional attachments in order to free oneself. The Queen of Wands reversed in unconditional the Queen of Wands reversed may be uncomfortable dealing with emotions, right? Because she could be passionately angry right now as my voice is going. So she could be tired, sick, or sick and tired, or just totally pissed off as the Queen of Wands reversed. Uncomfortable around feelings, so avoiding dealing with emotions. With the Six of Cups reversed in bad memories, or falling out in the past, or of energetic exchange with the Queen of Wands reversed, which can be like my mother with a bad temper, and connecting third party at work and starting over. In energetic exchange with the King of Pentacles, the superhero of the Ten of Pentacles reversed, dysfunction, right? So the superhero of the dysfunction, because we don't want the superheroes. We want everyone to be their own hero. It doesn't mean that you can't rescue someone from a fire. But to know that you can rescue yourself as well, and that maybe those people rescuing you are teaching you how to do that so that you can then rescue another who's still vulnerable, not knowing about their empowerment. The superhero of the Ten of Pentacles reversed, with a sassy Sag perhaps, and the Three of Cups reversed, or patient angel, third party. Healing dreams and nightmares, and awakening to your worth, and your magician embodiment at 759, which is the war within, and the Chariot, which is the rising, it's the ascending. The feminine within the masculine ascending, the final rising from the inner war. So soon is the King of Cups. Soon was the King of Cups. And the movie Yara came up as well. Yara, and then The Devil in Ohio. The King of Cups is upright, uncomfortable with lover, Gemini or twin, and the Empress healing, and the Page of Wands excited about the injustice of the Knight of Swords rushing in. Perhaps an unfair delivery here. Something else that came up in the show last night too that struck me was the woman who was a I don't know exactly what her title was, some kind of doctor, but in the psychiatry realm. When they talked about the cult, she never seemed intimidated by the cult because in her perspective, it's not real, like, because she's in a logical mind frame, which was a positive thing because she didn't believe in it, so it wasn't, like, it kept her safe. So I want to remind you of that as well, because she, in everything and I felt it too when I was watching the show. In everything she dealt with the cult, she didn't go into a place of fear, even though she may have been afraid at times because her life might have been in danger. She didn't believe in that stuff. She knew it was a wound that needed to be healed. So she dealt with it in a different way, which was the love around her, which protected her because she resonated with it. She understood. She didn't go into fear. I wanted to just bring that up. It all has to do with your perspective, the thoughts that you have. The Page of Cups, or Page of Wands, excited about injustice of the Knight of Swords rushing in with that unfair delivery. And the Four of Wands reversed, unstable home, the injustice of Libra having to break up. Or the Page of Wands and the Knight of Swords, maybe with sharp words and sass, but they're both upright. And the King of Wands upright with the Knight of Pentacles, the humble loyal servant here, right? The man of passion may be the humble loyal servant as well in the way they express themselves as their job, which I was just describing as a doctor. At 8:02, the dance of the High Priestess. The twin flames are seeing themselves as the abundance, the Empress, where the Empress is ending pain with the King of Wands, the man of passion, or the betrayal by him, the near death at rest, or dark night in the 5D connection with the twin flame, or given an ultimatum for the Page of Pentacles reversed, who may be in need of help, or the missed opportunity because they overslept or didn't wake up. At night, the King of Pentacles keeps to himself, the Hermit reversed parent with the High Priestess or nurse or aide, and Pisces or the Secret Keeper, or perhaps even a nun right here, expressing love, it's safe to love, engagement, and getting to know each other very soon. With Taurus, Cancer, Pisces upright here, and Scorpio and Virgo reversed, around the twins are how they're seen. And again, reversed can just mean it's not your sun sign, but in your chart. Around the twins are how they're seen as the Two of Cups upright and the Queen of Swords upright, working to align with a pet or strength, Leo or beast, or sharing or settling out with bad influences or third party perhaps. And perhaps a third party who's now over it. So maybe that's where the window closed or where they missed an opportunity. The block here is the Five of Pentacles reversed, coming out of the Mary Magdalene cave after carrying the weight of the world and coming full circle or around the world in 80 days, which is the zero of source embodiment supporting the 8 dance of sovereignty, really. 1 for good luck, and then the 8 to end the karma. Oh, it's coming up as around the world in 80 days, plus 1, right? So it's coming up as like the 80th birthday of the world in their sovereignty, plus 1 for good luck, which brings it to 81, which is the end of karma around the world. So it's 80 days and 1 for good luck to end karma around the world. In this rebirth into the 4th density completely, as the Three of Swords reversed and the healing Page of Pentacles reversed, healing self, trying to be perfect. Or this is the Page of Pentacles hurting themselves in trying to be perfect and no longer doing that, becoming the Page of Cups with an open heart on a quest of unconditional love of the King of Cups, perhaps the quest of their father's love, or a patient who is sick, or perhaps a child, and uncomfortable emotions around that. The Page of Cups magician with all their tools on board, or engineering with the Queen of Pentacles. This could be a child deciding to go to engineering school. And the Queen of Pentacles, wounded warrior surrendering with the Page of Wands, is excited about the injustice of the falling out in the negative past because they're seeing now the treasures that came out of that. The falling out or the difficult kids, and the Knight of Pentacles offering help now with the Queen of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles being with the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands, or helping pets or kids see what good came out of their darker situations. Or the Page of Wands is excited to correct an injustice they made or something bad that they did with a soulmate in the past at 8:13, which is the dance of transition. So then I asked, this was just something extra. I asked, why why did the flame go out in my video, my last video, at 1 hour and 33 seconds? With the King of Cups reversed and the Pisces reversed. And the puff of smoke was coming up significantly in my left periphery, where then when I looked that way, it was my baby picture. So again, that reference to like Marilyn Monroe, when the flame goes out, right? Her flame went out long before her legend ever did. So it's, and that's actually repeating what I read from the Bible to you guys, that your flame will burn out long before your legend ever does. The puff of smoke in the left periphery as the little children, right? The ones who were shy and abused or, right, didn't get to speak their truth. The unicorn and the underlying energy with the elephant, the phoenix, the elk, and the unicorn, such a powerful combination where the elk is also the moose of the two. The elephant's profundity of benevolence and the phoenix rising, the moose of the twins and the unicorn. And it's coming up too, the different light workers that are coming up, and the unicorn with their third eye. And I was getting ELPH twice. ELPH and then PHEL, the reflection of L and PH, which L can represent the Elohim. And then PH, I'm getting Philadelphia. So I don't know why, because it's kind of like the first, you know, the Elohim is the first, Philadelphia the first place, you know, of the city of brotherly love and sisterly love, actually. And then PHEL is fell, the falling. The ELPH is then the rising, the rise and fall. Remember, Philadelphia is in Egypt as well. The rise and fall of Philadelphia, of the Philly and the Delphi. The Philly is the horse, and the Delphi is Sophia, right? She's Sophie, the Phi. The Del is the Delta, Delta Dawn. So again, the fall to the dawning in the age of Aquarius. And the unicorn was coming up as UNI co-RN. So RN is nursing, but it's also the horn. Corn is the horn. So it's like this meeting of the minds here with the 4 sections of light workers and the Philadelphia story of the L, which is the right angle of love. They're so good. The Philadelphia story, which is the EL, but which is the L, which is the right angle of love. The city of brotherly and sisterly love. Wow, that was really cool. I had to write that down before I forget, because I will forget everything. So the Philadelphia story of the, which is the PH, of the EL, which is the L, which is the right angle of brotherly and sisterly love. The peace sign and the University of Pennsylvania, because the love sign is on the University of Pennsylvania, as well as Ben on the bench. Ben came up here somewhere too. I can't remember where. I might have seen it in the cards when I was looking at the letters yesterday. And Ben comes up as Ben Franklin, but also Ben with Michael Jackson. The two of us need look no more. We both found what we've been looking for. With a friend to call my own, I'll never be alone. And you, my friend, will see you've got a friend in me. Right, Teddy? You remembering the bird yesterday? Yeah. I don't know if you can see his face. No, you can't see him. He's up there talking to me. I used to say, I and me. Now it's us. Now it's we. Okay. Ben, most people would turn you away. You don't need to listen to a word they say. They don't see you as I do. I wish they would try to. I'm sure they think again. If they had a friend like Ben, like Ben, like Ben. So again, that can reference a mouse or a small bird or your doggy, right? But I'm also getting Ben, the letters Ben, because the B, the capital B, is the 13 of transition. The E is 1 equal and congruent to the next, and the next is the end of the Christ consciousness. The transition of the 1 equal and congruent are next to the Christ consciousness of all, which is Ben. So it also came up, I looked up ELPH when I was looking it up in Wiktionary, which is my go-to tool. I always use, for definitions, I always go to Wiktionary, and I use if you don't hear me state a site, it's usually a definition from Wikipedia if it's not Wiktionary. So, and also for lyrics, I always go to AZ lyrics unless for some reason it doesn't come up in AZ lyrics. So those are my main 3 that I've been using. And I'm not promoting that all of Wikipedia's information is correct, because I'm sure it's not. But when I get guided to something, the message is correct. So Elphine is ELPH, and then YNE was extra because there was no word ELPH. But Elphine is Elfame, which meant fairyland. So the fairyland is coming up here as well. It's PHELA, ELA, which means to cook or to live, to end or terminate. So again, it's both. It's the rising and the falling, and the finishing, to come to an end. So it's the final rising. The whale, absolutely, indeed, really and truly. So here the whale comes up as well, the whale's song. So the final rising to fairyland, the Holy Grail, so it's like the Holy Grail meets the Holy Communication, right? The Holy Grail and the Holy Communion, which are telling you the real definitions of this, right? The Holy Grail is the cup that the masculine puts his seed in, the eye of the co-nurses, or the co-newbies as well, I was just getting now. The two who nurse each other and others, the I co-nurse. The one of the shark, frog in the rain, concerned about the whole or the whale, needing a lifeline due to a break in the seal. So there's a whale and the seal coming up here. The shark attack of the whale, with the whale and the frog between them. So this is the whale and the frog, the feminine and the masculine, getting between the innocent one and the shark to protect them. They're co-nursing. The break in the sea serpent, the seal, the sacred chakra, the bee holding their own weight, clearing for dear one and swans, the cobra teacher schooling the raccoon about the nest egg and the golden child, and about not hurting them, not being allowed to go in that nest and take the egg, to let it crack open organically. Don't break it open too soon before it stops cooking. And again, the Philadelphia story of the L at the right angle, the brotherly and sisterly love. So it's very much about brothers and sisters bonding right now. And the parents allowing them to do that, even if that means their kids are mad at them and not talking to them. Let the children bond. This is their time to come together. So I then ended up talking to my son, and then came back the underlying energy of the journey of the Queen of Pentacles. And then the energy of the children becoming more social, but then also burnout around that, right? Learning their own lessons. The 30 of the lilies and the spiritual union. The tomorrow, right? That's always saying that I can always rest tomorrow. The tomorrow to rest and get things done. The 19 of the university, or the big business, the establishment, the 19 of the sun, and exposing that energy of the 35 and the wounded warrior, becoming unanchored, ungrounded, because of the energies around the distorted powers at B, or that B. With the 12 of the wise counsel, and the 8 of the Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, or somebody who needs an IV, or to dictate, or to do the laundry perhaps. Cracking the whip within yourself as the 11, the alignment of Libra, where Virgo goes to Libra around the 21st, which is the next card, the 21. The 11 of Virgo to Libra at the mountain, the 21st, with sunshine to the 31st. And again, Sam, the illusionist, was just talking about this window period to be able to graduate into the fourth density for sure. So it's like a second chance to get in there. From the I don't think it was the 21st to the 31st. It was like 9 days, but it was around that same time period. So from the 21 to the 31 of September, and going into Libra, the 10, which is Libra for me, that high vibe destiny of making cuts, and the Page of Cups, which is that innocent love of the 40, the vulnerable pup of the 18, which can be a moon child or pet, and that 0 point field of romance, the Pisces and Cancer, which references for me my daughter and Teddy, this dog, and the 28 of the loving man, the twin, the 29 of the loving woman with her truth, the messenger of truth, and the King of Cups in a time crunch of space-time. The 9 of the Queen of Swords, the hermit flowers with gifts, the abundant blissful trip to clear the family tree, the 12 of the wise birds, and the 15 of the polar bear, or a teddy bear, and the 16 of the subtle sightings. It can be sudden sightings, but now I'm getting subtle sightings. The subtle epiphany, right? The sightings, it's not like a sudden event, like an explosion. It's a subtle epiphany. It just comes in suddenly. The 6 of Cups of love, of the loving inner and outer children, and the 25 of the inspiration that the Knight of Wands brings, right? To kind of start that fire under your butt. The commitment to the 27 of the passionate growth, which remember that the wands is inspiration plus ego, which is why it's wands. So it can take you the wrong way if you let too much ego be there and not enough inspiration. The 27 of the passionate risky letter to nest the dream, the 33 of being released and free, and the 13 of the transition of the child to the Christ vibration, that unity consciousness. The 26 of the Page of Wands, cracking codes, and the Page of Swords at work perhaps with the 10 of Pentacles, which can be a family, business, or community, and the 38 of the Queen of Cups, Pisces perhaps, in abundant energetic exchange with the 42 of the Two of Cups, with directions to help them get there, to the 43 of coming together, the Chew, which is my son's nickname, but it's bringing up the chew, the sneeze, through the maze to come together. It will take you there. The 24 of the Omega, the Queen of Wands, and the swans reflecting, the Queen of Wands and the Page of Cups, the innocence of the Omega and the horseshoe, and the 2 horseshoes interlinking in the Messier 83, which is the reflection of 38, in the Hydra constellation, the release from the prison to go public, or experience parks and recreation, or just nature in general, at 1042, which is the destiny of the Two of Cups, the coming together of the soulmate. So again, the horseshoe, look at Messier 83, it's a beautiful constellation of the 2 horseshoes linking. And then, of course, Hydra representing the Kundalini. Okay, and then the 2 horseshoes of the Omega, which is the 2 rings, the rings coming together, right? The linking of the wedding rings is the horseshoes, right? They're always holding hands, just like an Andromeda and Pegasus, that same energy. All right, so let's just pull, it's over 2 hours already, 2 hours and 28 minutes, and 18 it was. So the High Priestess, the Twin Flames, the Divine Feminine, and then the 18 of the Moon, the Romance. So I want to pull from the animal deck here, this Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Guidebook. Let's see what comes up today. Is it the bird, the mouse, the whale? Who's coming up today? Is it the wolf? It was so cute when the wolf came out last night in my cars, because Teddy looks so much like the wolf in the picture in this deck. He's like, what's going on? Like, why are you not paying attention to me? Which he's looking at me right now. I love you. I'm still doing my video. I'll be done in a minute. All right, let's see what comes up with the cards here. What is our takeaway from this beautiful read today? The oyster, the one in the shell, right? They're hiding. And this is my little birdie hiding, perhaps still under the deck, putting their little feelers out to see if the coast is clear. So this can represent my little birdie under the deck, or you, or anyone for that matter. It's the oyster, which is making it also is the egg, right? Because the oyster is making a pearl, and they're putting their feelers out because they're telling you they're about ready to hatch. The oyster, the oi. So oi, what word came up? Oi, I think O-Y-A? Yeah, I told you that in Taraya's name. That came up. And I'm also getting joy without the J. Right? So being clammed up like this is the joy without the J of Jesus. Or without the divine masculine. And then the stirring here, the joy stirring, is lacking the J here. I'm getting the monster too, but like Cookie Monster. I don't know why that's coming up. That may be a message for someone. The joystick, but also the straw, because I'm getting, it's very important. The straw that I have is really good because it's hard. You can't suck the liquid up easily, but it's building up the embouchure, which was coming up in a read earlier this past week. So I feel like those straws are important. The one I have, I don't know what the brand is, but it's a glass straw with crystals in it. So it's closed off. The hole inside is small, so you have to actually really suck on the straw to get the water to come up, which is really good. But I'm getting the stirring of the water as well in a clockwise direction is what is supposed to help the molecules correct themselves. So again, a lot's coming up with this oyster card. Putting your feelers out to see if the coast is clear, if the pearl is ready. This is also referencing 9/11 because we have the ST is the street or the path, and the ER is the urgency of the path, and the OI, right, which is like that 9/11 event, right? The saint of urgency. Who's the saint of emergency traumas? I don't know. But it's saying you. It's saying the human, you, at the 0 point. Oh, why is that? It's the human embodiment of source at 0 point, the Y in the road. It's the birth, the rebirthing here. And stirring up the trigger. So there's the scorpion bringing the trigger in to get the clam to open up, or the oyster to open up. I'm getting for some reason that's another water sign. This is Scorpio energy. But they're triggering, they're getting ready to surprise someone or jump them. When the pearl is ready, the teacher will come, right? When the pearl of wisdom is ready, or when the student is ready, the teacher will come. And there is the golden egg, the golden child, perhaps ready to hatch. So again, it's bringing those pearls of wisdom to the new egg, the new child. It's like Jesus being born, right? Resurrected, the rebirth. And remember the missing J over here is over here, which is the egghead, the wise one. Hold on one second. I have the camel here coming in too, but I want to look at the words for a second because there's another message trying to come through, but I'm not getting it fully. Sorry, the camel dropped on the floor, which may be a message for you. And there's gold coming up here too. So the human embodiment of the Y in the road, the 0 point, and that leap of faith, that can be a jump off point right here. Skogel, camel, the gold camel. The goal is the camel. It's your independence. The Scorpio or the Scorpion's goal in jumping or surprising someone, the goal is their independence. So it's like, getting your kids to leave the nest, right? Showing them, it's like tough love, showing them how to be an independent. So initially you may be blue because your parent kicked you out of the house or something like that. But through that dark night is learning your own worth, right? All the things that you didn't think you could ever do for yourself, and then all of a sudden you can, and you look back and you're like, wow, I can't believe I got through all of that. And you feel really good about yourself. So it's really about that. Treasuring. So again, Mother Mary is coming up as the one who gets stuck with doing the tough love stuff, which my Mother Mary was definitely doing that. But again, Sophia was coming up more as the direct connect, right? To help you clear directly in channels. So maybe there's maybe your mother, maybe my mother had, I think my mother had, I have to look up her chart again to see if she had Scorpio in her chart. But she definitely had that sting. But it's coming through as the Scorpio sting because the Scorpio is in the South Node right now. And we're letting go all of those negative traits that affect us regarding Scorpio traits right now, because we're in Scorpio. So we're letting go of those negative traits, which could be jealousy, which could be obsession around money or death, taxes. Those are all Scorpio type of events. So letting go of all those things that no longer serve you, including, triggering people in a violent way. It's not necessary, right? Because we all know, and my son's a Scorpio, right? They can freak out and really, use their words to hurt. That's that stinger. So it's about like putting that stinger back in and channeling that energy and using it in another way to get your point across. There's nothing wrong with tough love, but you don't have to do it by abuse or violence or because those things are abusive, right? So saying really mean, hurtful things because it feels good to you to get it out can wound somebody for the rest of their life. So it's like that reminder, right, that the sting, when the pearl's not quite ready to come out and you're trying to push them out before they're ready, trying to push them out of the tree before they're ready, they may fall or they may get hurt and never talk to you again. So what was the point of that? Do you really think that you're, as a person or parent, are more all-knowing than the universe, which is organically guiding them to their opening up to their independence? So again, be patient with them. Be patient with your children. And that's about, being open. If you go into frustration and fear, you're closing yourself off to what the universe has to tell you about you and your children and your family. So the bottom of the deck is the spider's web, right? Don't get caught in that trap where you're stuck. And there's the little otter. So there's the OTT coming up again. The little curious one who's so cute, right? And you don't want them to get caught in that trap, maybe the same trap that you did. But sometimes you have to let them in order to learn. Like, don't abuse them to get them not to do something. You can teach them the best you can, but you can't be next to them every second of the day. They're going to make their own mistakes, and they're going to learn from that. So trust that they listened to what you said growing up. If you were a loving parent, again, they still might fall into traps, but that's okay, because they're going to learn from that, and they're going to remember what you taught them. Trust them. And again, this is age appropriate. There's a certain level of trust at every age, because it is your job to protect them when they're vulnerable and they can't take care of themselves. Okay? So trust that they learned what you taught them. And of course, protect them when they can't protect themselves. Right? But don't fall into that trap of being abusive and using the excuse that I was only trying to help them or protect them. You don't have to abuse someone to protect them. That is the message coming up. I do want to pull from another deck too. What do I want here? And I got one card mixed up with the other cards. Why are they in there? Let's see what they are. So I put these cards. These cards got put aside for some reason yesterday, and they ended up putting them in the wrong section with my energy deck. So there's that Knight of Wands rushing in, which I talked about in the read, the 30 of the Union, heralding in of change. The stranger is like the otter who's curious, Knight of Swords. So we have the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords here, coming in together. And the curiosity is coming up as the otter, right? It's a very innocent adult here, right? Because the otter is like a little kid. It's like a 2-year-old. But that's a technique too used at the dinner table therapy, where you imagine being at the dinner table when you're 7 years or younger, and your perspective as compared to standing behind your parents and how they saw things. When I did that in a session, my father was 10 years old and my mother was 2 years old. So this is very much bringing up that kind of energy where the adult can actually be two years old emotionally because of a trauma. And here's the union heralding in the changes between the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords. And they're different perspectives. See, coming into union with the 47, where dreams come true, with synchronicities and options if you don't go into fear about them, right? If you don't allow things to overwhelm you. If you do get triggered in that way, it's time for a break, to step back and go within to see where that wound is coming from your childhood. The possibility for union here and building a bridge with the sun's light and the heart in the hand, the healing hand, allowing some, by showing the palm of your hand, is showing a symbol of trust. That you trust, that you're being vulnerable to them with your healing hands, and that you're giving them healing at the same time. The chaos of the light and the dark, and transmuting, alchemizing the two, where the universe is your partner, and trusting the universe's wisdom over your own. And the cosmic wound of the divine feminine, the lovers, and the woodwife's ability to adapt to situations better than perhaps the masculine here, because of their feminine energy. And that could be a man who's got more feminine energy. It could be the more adaptable of the two, the woodwives. Their adaptability to pain and suffering because they give birth traditionally as the feminine here. So definitely those messages need to come up for you. And let's pull from, I'm being called to my Ascension deck, which I don't always use anymore, but that's where I'm being called. So this one here, where the bottom of the deck is Kuan Yin. So it could be some, again, we have Mother Mary, and what is Kuan Yin's role, which is very compassionate. The Ascension deck here. So let's see what comes up for you guys. Kuan Yin, by the way, is 43, which brings up Scorpio, because 43 is my son's soul number, and he's Scorpio. It says, I act from divine feminine wisdom. Kuan Yin's the master of the 12th ray of unconditional love. She radiates a vibrant cerise pink light of divine feminine energy, love, and compassion. She is re-empowering women everywhere and bringing forward feminine wisdom in men. She's inviting you to develop your divine feminine qualities, including your healing abilities. Find ways to nurture and empower others and yourself. Give yourself permission to go with the flow and share with everyone for the highest good. This will subtly affect your stellar gateway chakra and build the Antakarana bridge to source. All right, let's see what else comes up. And then we'll go. All right, what is our takeaway from this deck? And that came right up. Look at that, Earth. 14, the higher love of Earth. This card invites you. Hold on, there's another card that wants to come up too. There's actually 4 other cards, but on the bottom of the deck, I want to show you 2 Archangel Retreats, 50. So you can read that on your own. It says for emotional fulfillment, the Archangel Retreats. And you may be wanting to visit an Archangel today. So the Earth is, this card invites you to connect to Lady Gaia, the angel in charge of our planets, as well as to Taya, the elemental master of Earth, and his Earth elementals, including goblins and pixies. Invoke Master Rogoski, the master of the 11th ray of mysticism, to help you attune to the wisdom of our glorious planet, and then listen to its heartbeat. To further expand your consciousness, ask the Earth dragons to help you connect to Hollow Earth and Lemurian wisdom. So again, this brings up the hollowness of hollowing yourself. And again, the dragons of the bird seeing me as a dragon when I was healing them. So allow the Earth dragons to help you connect to Hollow Earth and hollowing yourself out, like hollowing the Earth out, and Lemurian wisdom, going back to your Lemurian knowing. Earth loves, nurtures, and welcomes you. So this is a card of joy and celebration. The affirmation being, I thank Lady Gaia for inviting me to be on Earth. And then the second card is nature. So they very much go hand in hand. You can read that one yourself as well. The affirmation is, I thank, bless, and love the entire nature kingdom. And again, it's all about honoring nature's beauty and power. Go out and, go out and hike, go in the meadows, the forests, the mountains, the lakes, or rivers to recharge, balance, and heal you. The love and respect for nature is essential for your ascension of the planet. And then the last 2 cards that came out were Lord Cthulhu and the Moon. So 36 of the Atlas energy and the 11 of alignment, which has been coming up nonstop as well. So here, I'll let you read the cards. I'm just going to just summarize real quickly, see if I can get this focused a little bit better. That's better. It says Lord Cthulhu and then the Moon. Okay, so Lord Cthulhu affirmations, I am open to learning and teaching. So again, that's hollowing yourself, is a humbling, but not to make you less than, but to allow yourself to be open to source energy to pass straight through you so that you can get it directly. And I listen to my divine feminine wisdom. So very much going into the feminine energy right now with the Moon and romance, and the 11 of alignment, truth and balance. So feminine qualities being listed as wisdom, compassion, love, intuition, inclusiveness, discernment, and oneness. So go within to seek answers and wisdom. The Moon will bring you clarity as we're coming up to the full moon, right? I forget what day it's on. 27, I think it's the 12th. think it's the 10th. It's the 10th or the 12th. It's around 9/11, but wasn't the 11th. And we do have 11 coming up here, so 9/11 is coming up as significant too as the weight of the world because of the 9/11 right here. So, and 14 and 3 are the Temperance card and the 3 of the Empress. So the angels and the Empress of the earth and nature, an abundance of that higher love. And then Lord Cthulhu and the moon as the 9/11 energies of the weight of the world and the 11 of alignment, truth, and balance. And the romance of Lord Cthulhu, who's open to teaching and learning about, again, about humbleness, to spread your knowledge and spiritual truth to others with humility and inspiration. Be ready to learn, for Cthulhu is drawing your attention to something important. He's a member of the Brotherhood of the Golden Robe, those who take in and transmute the pain of the world. If you're sensitive to energies, ask him to wrap you in his light. Okay, so that's you guys taking in the pain of the world. So you may want to connect with Cthulhu and the moon here, and earth and nature, very important right now. Okay, those were really good actually. All right, you guys, remember your water, and perhaps get a straw that's not so easy to suck through. Perhaps, preferably crystal. If you can get a crystal straw, that's great too. And it was just 45:54. Again, the message of purging and the dinner purge. Don't forget that after dinner, after you eat. Get one with your food and then allow the purge. Remember to drink your water, get your rest, your joy in nature. Again, we're being called to go out in nature a lot. And I guess rise and be loved. I'll see you soon.